Hi, I'm Tealish, and you're watching Coffee and Clicks. I hope you enjoy my content, and if you do, you should smash that subscribe button and hit that like button as well. And don't forget to follow the link tree in the description of this video in order to be redirected into my various media outlets like Facebook, Discord, and Patreon. So that's found in the description of this video. You should go check it out. I hope you're enjoying your day, and I hope you enjoy today's episode of Coffee and Clicks. Don't forget, wake up and smell the clicks. Hi, I'm Tealish, and you're watching Coffee and Clicks. Today we are joined by Antonio Clark and Abdul Monochrome, together with myself, the self-proclaimed A team, because all of our names start with A. So there's that. Um, and today we're going to talk about the a lot of different topics. We're going to talk about the rules changes. We're going to talk about future foundation. So I think we're going to have a good episode today. Um, I also wanted to mention that my Coffee and Clicks Classic Epilepsy Foundation charity tournament is still going on. Um, we've raised like $720, I think, and for epilepsy research, and we're into the semifinals now. There are only 4 players remaining, so keep on the lookout for the standings being posted in Facebook and stuff like that, and just keep following it. But okay, so let's just jump right in because we have a lot of hot topics for today. So
Hot topics.
yeah, how are things going, by the way, Antonio and Abdul?
Sorry?
Good,
It's a
good.
great day to be a Clicks player. Let me tell you, it is a great day to be a Hero Clicks player that loves all of the game. It is a great day, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
All
absolutely.
all members
Absolutely.
of Team Pusheen as well. I forgot to mention members of Team Pusheen. So
Right. Shout out to Pusheen.
so what do you guys think about? I'm just gonna go through the topics I have listed here. The first one being the WizKids changes, and the first change that they put into effect, the first article that they put out, which was about no more pushing damage. So, what are our thoughts on there being no more pushing damage as of the Wonder Woman set in April?
What do you think, Tone? Tell me what you think first. I want to know what you think. What you think?
Um, you know, for me, I don't mind it so much. I understand it changes the game a lot. I understand that it makes the game different in terms of strategy because, especially for experienced players, pushing onto another click or was a strategy. Also deciding when to push or when not to push was a strategy, and also there's that element of risk and reward that goes into pushing a figure to take an extra attack or to do something on your turn, and so you had to really think about it. And so that
Mm-hmm.
thought process makes the game more intricate. But I understand where WizKids is coming from because they are trying to get new players in the game, and a couple of my friends that are new players have been practicing with it, and with the new rules changes, practicing without pushing damage, and it the game goes faster, and that's been a big complaint, um, about HeroClix is that the game's pretty. There's a lot of decision making and it takes time. I think it speeds up the game and it also simplifies it for new players. So I get what WizKids is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Do I whether I'm for or against it? I'm not sure. I mean, Abdul, what do you think?
I mean, initially from the first announcement, being a player that started with the very first starter set that came out, it's definitely a change to adapt to. I do see the benefits of it. Now you can have that generic piece that's a little bit out of place because you couldn't carry them up forward with you before you make your attack. Now they can actually move up and still maintain that current click that they're on, whether it's probability control, outwit or perplex, or enhancement, or let's say empower. You don't have to second guess yourself. Oh my gosh, am I remembering the click correctly now? But WizKids actually has been prepping us for this, if for these changes to come. It slowly started with they definitely want to build the business, attract more players, grow the community, which is fantastic. And one of the ways they started doing that was when they introduced, now opponents can look at the back of the card. You touched on that point before. Now both players can actually strategize a little bit easier and definitely speed up the game a little bit more since that mechanic. With the fact that, this is going to be in effect with the new Wonder Woman set, I'm actually, the more I think about it, the more I play test certain teams, the more I like it, because now these figures can move up, to certain strategic points on the map and be part of the game. I can actually start including different figures that initially I didn't think was worth it because I'd have to spend one or too many actions to get them into position. I may have to cut down and combined points to find that one figure that can maintain that current click that I need, probability control, outwit, perplex, enhancement, whatever the case may be. So I'm actually for it. I'm looking forward to additional changes from WizKids.
I think when I first heard it,
Mm-hmm.
It makes me do this. All this now has more value. All
Very
this
nice.
now. Every single figure in this deck, this is House of X, by the way, every single figure now has more value.
Yeah.
It makes every single figure playable to an extent. Does it make them insanely great? No, it doesn't, because some figures, the cream's always going to rise to the top. Some figures are just better. But now I don't even have to, like Abdul just said, I don't even have to think twice about, do I want to push or not? That can slow play game. That can slow play down. Worrying about if I push and I miss, that decision making, that can take a long time, and I've seen it take a long time. That risk reward, yes, it still is going to be in the game because dials are different. Yes, if you do charge over to somebody, who cares if you push now? You still have to hit, and if you miss, you miss. And now you have to worry about the retaliation. That is the risk and reward of HeroClix in general. It literally comes down to the dice. If your dice are cold, your dice are cold. It doesn't matter. I am so for this thing. I've taught so many people through the years of HeroClix. I'm literally teaching someone now. I've been teaching through the pandemic, and the first thing they said is, well, I don't really want to play this character because they're going to hurt themselves when I try to use them a bunch. When she heard that, she was like, this makes all of these characters better, and I couldn't agree more. So I think this is a huge, I think of all the rules changes, even if they kept the thing, that everything else the same, taking away pushing damage literally opens the gates so wide on the game. And that's the thing I want, is I want players to actually appreciate more than just 1% of every set that we get every couple months. We're getting set after set after set after set. I don't want to just ignore literally 99% of the set and only worry about just now. Like, this just opens a whole bunch of stuff. So I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you about that because I noticed you said that it makes figures more playable. Did you view figures without willpower or without Indomitable as unplayable
Never.
for the most part? For the most part.
Well, I look at the game differently than most people, realistically. I'm a comic book nerd first. As you can see in this background, there's comic book stuff all over the place. I'm a comic nerd first. I play this game because I love comics. So as long as you give me a semi comic accurate dial, I'm okay. I equate the change to pushing damage as Avengers Endgame. Captain America was beat to hell, and he still ran in there. He was still in front of the charge, running up against Thanos, and so was everyone else who had just got, like, some of the people like Thor and Iron Man who had just got their face stomped in by Thanos are still running into the thing. So you can't, the argument of, oh well, some people aren't as strong as other people. When you want to fight, let's fight. The adrenaline gets going. That's like a human thing. But I played tons of characters that don't push, and that's the risk and reward. I'll gladly give one click up to deal you 3, to deal you 4, to deal you a killing shot. I'm sure Abdul's had that, and you too, Tony. You've had lots of matches where it's called, I'm gonna push this character to death to kill your character, but I'm up on points. You know what I'm saying? So there's still risk and reward. There's still risk and reward. But how many times have all of us pushed to regen and you roll a 1?
Yeah, or push to breakaway and then you take a click of damage. I think WizKids mentioned that in their article.
Yep.
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. So yes. So to answer your question, of course I play characters that have that. Like, again, Starjammers. Starjammers was my thing. The moment I saw him, I was like, yes, Starjammers. And that makes leadership even more powerful. But it still keeps power in leadership for just token removal in general. It's still a powerful thing, even if no pushing damage is involved. Token removal is still a powerful thing. So I can't wait, man. This is great.
If I were to play Ultra Chase Thanos, I would play him for every click. Like, always, my opinion is try to make sure that you utilize the figure to the best of its abilities. Maybe even try using it a little bit differently than what others have, shown you that they do.
Stop playing, Abdul. Stop talking about thinking outside the box, man. We're on the internet. We're on the internet, man. Stop.
My apologies.
Stop talking about thinking outside the box, man. We don't do that. This is the internet. Okay.
So,
thinking outside the.
So what I just found on the internet, by the way, was let me share it with you. I'll share my screen.
Sure.
Love it.
These are the benched powers. So
Yeah.
what is your opinion about the benched powers? This is WizKids, HeroClix.com or WizKids website.
What do you think, Abdul?
I mean, well, just for people who don't know, what WizKids has decided to do with the Wonder Woman set. One, they took away pushing damage, so now no figures can push anymore. That's not a thing. And then the second thing that they did was they said that certain powers, I think nine standard powers, are being benched for the Wonder Woman set, which means that figures in that set in particular will not have those powers. I mean, they can get them through other means, that's fine, but they will not have them on their card or on their dials. So, I mean, and these are the powers that have been benched: Leap, Climb, Super Strength, Willpower, Earthbound, Neutralized, Precision Strike, Pulse Wave, Battle Fury, Range Combat Expert, Perplex, Shape Change, Invincible, Force Blast, Hypersonic Speed, and Support.
It's a lot.
That is a lot of powers to go through, from your movement powers to your damage powers. That's tremendous.
That's a lot.
I mean, in general, your opinion about benching powers in general. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it benefits the game? Do you think it benefits new players? What do you think?
Absolutely. With the announcement of benching certain powers, it opens up the door for other powers and other figures to become a bit more relevant than they are right now in current gameplay. As far as bringing on board a new player and having a slimmed down version of the PAC, I believe that's going to help them and help them grow as a player. And because a power gets quote unquote benched doesn't necessarily mean we're not going to see them in future sets. They're going to be in a reduced capacity, actually make it a little bit more worthwhile. For example, they're benching hypersonic speed. We actually have a couple characters in gameplay right now that actually have the ability to charge and not have their speed when they do charge. So the loss of hypersonic speed there, I believe WizKids took a look at the state of the game, and said, you know what, which powers are not being utilized to their fullest extent, and which powers are not letting other powers, come out and be used. So removing hypersonic, in my opinion, is it's going to be good for the game. A lot of people are going to start enjoying the game a lot more. The game's going to be faster, and as they slowly reintroduce the powers, back into gameplay, I believe that it's going to help players grow and expand and experience hypersonic a little differently, super strength a little differently. There's a whole list of possibilities that's going to happen with this.
What about you, Antonio?
So my only issue with benching is that WizKids actually told us that they were benching the powers. All WizKids literally had to do was just make the set exactly how it is. And then you know what's going to happen? The internet now says, well, has anyone noticed there's no hypersonic in this set? And then all of a sudden you're going to have people that say, I like this. I like that there's no hypersonic in the set. And then some people are going to say, well, just like Abdul said, well, somebody's got full move charge, so you don't need to give them hypersonic. But telling us that, hey, you're not going to see these powers for a while, what that automatically does is it makes people have that what's called FOMO, fear of missing out. Now they feel like they're missing out of this thing that you're saying that you can't have it. Humans naturally want what they can't have. So now you have people that are going to naturally complain about a power that they necessarily aren't using all the time. I don't care if we don't have Earthbound Neutralize or Battle Fury, even though Battle Fury is great against all the shape change that's currently in the game right now, which again, I love shape change. I play Skrulls all day, symbiotes all day, because I like evasion type of characters. So yes, it's gonna, I guess, quote unquote, hurt to not have some of those powers present in a couple sets. But like Abdul said, I'm not dying. It allows other, for me, it allows design to shine.
Yeah,
because
right.
that's really
right.
important. Now it's called, all right, so you took hypersonic away. Are you going to have 10 characters in the set now that just have full move charge? Because that's going to get redundant after a while, right? People are going to see it, and they're going to see the redundancy of it. So what you then get to do is you get to actually flex these design muscles, which I think the game personally is at the best kind of point that it's ever been, as far as like the powers, the traits are finally perfected.
Sure.
Abdul and I've been playing for the first time when they had special powers. It was like, you get perplexed, but deal yourself damage. And it was like, why am I perplexing myself and I'm hurting myself? You can do this, but now deal one unavoidable to your friend. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. So I think benching powers is fine. WizKids should not have told us. They should have just did it. If they just would have not put hypersonic in the set, I'm perfectly okay with that. If they would have not, and you know what, I look back at older sets to see some legitimacy, right? I looked at the Superman Wonder Woman set, which was full of Wonder Woman sub-theme of gods and stuff like that. Hades is like 230 some points with no invincible. And it had invincible in that set. And I started to think, well, damn, how did Hades have this set? It's because his dial is set up that he's going to heal and he's going to have other people dying around him. So he doesn't necessarily need to have all this damage reduction. So now you get to flex your muscles in different ways. So I am happy to see some of it. Do I want a Wonder Woman that does have invincible? Yes, because I want a strong Wonder Woman. Do I expect us to see a Wonder Woman that can reduce penetrating damage while having like ESD and her team ability, which is great? Do I expect to see that kind of Wonder Woman? Yes, I do. Do I expect to see some of the if they make the gods like Zeus or Ares and stuff, do I expect them to be able to reduce penetrating damage? Like Abdul was saying, like they prepped us with X-Men, with given, I think it's like 3 or 4 characters in House of X that can reduce penetrating damage.
Right.
That's a great way to without giving invincible, still someone can take a wallop. And still Psychic Blast, Psychic Blast doesn't work as well. Exploit doesn't really work as well. But in this set, I think, again, Exploit weakness is going to shine a whole bunch because a lot of characters should have it. And plus, guess what? If you make Mary Marvel, let's rewind back to World's Finest Mary Marvel. Abdul, during Sealed, Mary Marvel was what you wanted. That's what you wanted.
Oh, absolutely.
So now we can get away from the hypersonic beat stick that pretty much destroys everyone looking at every other piece in the set. And that's something that, again, is going to bring in new players. And hypersonic has no equal as far as moving attack. That's my only thing that's the reason I don't like hypersonic realistically, but it's because it has no equal. It has really no dividend. They try to do it with plasticity and they immediately took it away. Plasticity used to just shut it down. Like, nope, can't move, can't do nothing anymore. But hypersonic has no like equal besides just outwitting it. And so I'm glad that it's getting benched. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, and so does, I would say no, but I mean, would this benching of powers, would this affect your level of excitement for the Wonder Woman set as an experienced player?
At first it did. I'm not gonna lie. At first it did because of what I just said. I expect if it's a Wonder Woman set for her to have like a Ares in there, a Zeus. If they take from the New 52 stuff, the New 52 run of Wonder Woman was phenomenal. And I expect these, if I'm thinking that you're a god, I'm thinking that you're going to be really hard to hurt and be very powerful. If you do like a new Hermes or something like that, I'm expecting hypersonic. But after seeing those 3 dials, and then now, like, I was like, okay, seeing that Mary Shazam, I was like, wow, that piece can do almost 9 damage. It can do 9 damage on its own with no help for 75 points. That's insane.
Well,
Come on, Abdul, know.
Oh yeah, absolutely, without a doubt.
Don't forget even the common Wonder Woman that they previewed. Now that they have close combat expert goes along with charge, so
right.
That's the thing.
It's not as bad as it's a lot better than they previewed it when
Tony, back in the day, Tony, the first Mary Marvel that they ever made, she was called Mary Marvel back then. The first Mary Marvel was like 230 some points. That's 233 points because WizKids used to like make janky like point values where it'd be like 134 points for some odd reason. It wasn't odd at the end. Anyways, and she didn't have a dial that nearly was as nice as this dial is as far as like damage, being able to deal damage. The game was completely different back then. But those are the type of dials we used to get. A beat stick, a dial like that used to cost us 200 plus points. It does not anymore. That gives access to lots of characters. It gives access to faster gameplay. And it makes it, like Abdul said, when you slim it down, you make it easier to learn, And I'm all for that all day. So I'm definitely probably going to get a case of Wonder Woman. Also, there's objects in there, so you got to have those,
I also want to show you the most recent rules changes.
Sure. I'm interested to hear your opinions on this one.
So we'll start with Abdul on this. We'll start with Abdul.
Lots of changes. Very nice changes.
Here. So they changed. So here they changed Leap Climb. They changed Leap Climb so that it's always on, and and there's no improved movement hindering. But they hinted that they're going to change something about hindering terrain, or something about the rules for hindering terrain. So I don't know. I'm wondering about that actually myself. What they're going to do with hindering terrain on the map, like. Maybe you don't have to stop in hindering or something like that. I don't know. Curious about that. But yeah, so they changed Leap Climb, so it says it's basically just says improved movement, elevated, outdoor blocking, and move through characters. So that is an always on power. Telekinesis they changed so that you cannot. These 5 things here that you can normally do with telekinesis. Now you can only do these 2. You can only reposition and advance to your own characters, and you can only reposition objects for the sake of their own characters. You can't make object attacks with TK anymore. You can't reposition opposing characters anymore. So that's the change to telekinesis. I mean, this is the official wording of the power, but basically it's just a simplified version of what it used to be.
Sure.
And then the combat experts and perplex. So you used to have perplex. I used to have range combat expert and close combat expert, which you had a choice between either +2 attack, +2 damage, or +1 to each attack and damage. And those could not be comboed with things like running shot or charge because they were power actions. Now close combat expert and
Range combat expert.
Range combat expert say this: it's an always on power, which means you don't even have to call it. I don't think.
Nope.
And it just says this character modifies attack +1 and damage +1 while making a range attack or using a range destroy action.
Sure.
Which is a great buff, being able to destroy with range combat expert, because that used to be something that you couldn't do. So
yeah. Sure. And then the close combat expert, the same thing. So +1 attack, +1 damage. And then perplex, what they did to perplex was interesting, a little shocking, but I mean,
No, sir. No, sir. That's actually not shocking in my personal opinion.
Okay.
Not at all. Not at all.
With Perplex, it says, I mean, basically they said with Perplex is that what WizKids said in the article was that there were too many decisions to make when you're using Perplex. You had to choose between a friendly or an opposing, and then you had to choose all these different values to choose from, whether you wanted to modify them +1 or -1. And they also said that there's like a feel bad moment in HeroClix where if you I'm thinking Vulture teams, obviously, but I mean, there's a feel bad moment in HeroClix where you perplex your guy up six damage, and then you one shot your opponent's figure, and that really kind of sucks. It doesn't feel good. So what they did was they took away the damage part of perplex, and now you can no longer perplex damage. You can only perplex.
It pushes the game forward so much.
Any other combat value besides damage, +1 or -1 until your next turn. This is the official wording on Perplex. So,
sure.
So the powers were changed so far, and there might be more. But leap, climb, telekinesis, the combat experts, and Perplex. So, Abdul, what are your thoughts?
Well, starting with leap, climb, I like it. It's a simplified version of the power. It's just going to help out a figure if they happen to have it traded, or if they have it still existing on the dial, and somehow or another they acquire running shot or charge. It's just going to help that figure advance further and be able to take the action that you need the figure to take. With regard to the hindering terrain change, if the change to the objects is any indication as far as changes coming to hindering terrain, that's going to tell us that, okay, now hindering terrain, it just may be treated as obscuring terrain, where you get the +1 bonus from range attacks, all the while you can still move through it freely.
I didn't even think of that, Abdul. Damn.
I was thinking they might take away obscuring terrain and just do hindering terrain as like you can move through it freely.
Sure, definitely. That's one possible change. The other possible change could also be that I believe, Tony, I think you or someone else had actually said this earlier in the chat today, where they just give you a -2 or
to your movement
penalty, right, to move into or out of, or it'll cost one additional move.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's an easy way. I mean, that's more math, but yeah.
Yeah, it's some things are a give and take, and honestly, a lot of these changes again are actually speeding up the game, in my opinion, because the more I think about it, the less strategy I have to put into the game and then adjust on the fly. personally, I like that aspect of the game. Is if it's speeding up the game so I can enjoy more games, more of fun games playing with my favorite character. Absolutely, let's go for it. Let's give it a shot. See what you got.
Would you be okay with that? Both of y'all. Would you be okay if WizKids tomorrow says hindering terrain now just gives you +1 from range for range attacks only?
Sure.
Yeah, I think I'd be okay with
Absolutely.
it. I mean, it takes away an element of strategy in picking the map, but because but then again, they're going to change that
Stealth
too, right?
matters.
That's the thing I want to talk about later is what they're going to do with theme teams because they're going to change the whole thing about map choice, and I think
All that stuff needs to be rain. It needs to be all these changes to me, and I've talked about this in our group chat.
Mhm.
These changes affect the meta immediately, right? Perplex
Sure.
affects Vulture immediately. Can Vulture still do some really cool stuff? Of course he can. Can Vulture now just sit there and deal out 10 damage in a flurry with the arms anymore? He cannot. He just can't do it anymore. Not without literally pulling up your whole squad with him. Can that happen? Of course it can. But now you have this risk and reward. Now you have this tempo thing that needs to happen. Now you change the tempo by changing Perplex. Now you change changing Perplex makes enhancement in the power. So again, you change up the tempo of the game. Changing the experts automatically. Again, I now look at this and I say, well, god dang. I say, you know what? One of the pieces I was gonna use it, or I was already using anyway, but one of my favorite pieces now that I'm gonna use is Chode. Now Chode starts with 11. It usually starts with 11-3. Now he's gonna have 12-4. And defend and double enhancement for 90 points, and he doesn't take pushing damage anymore. Now, that seems like a really fun figure now. It really, really, really seems a lot funner. So like Abdul said,
yeah.
And that's what it is. I get to now have more fun with more pieces. Yep. Our game's going to necessarily go faster? Possibly, because you still have turtling. You still have people that are going to play very defensive.
Sure, absolutely.
Maps still matter. You can't tell me that the Caverns map doesn't still matter. If it was still legal, that is, just because the hindering doesn't give you hindering no more.
Sure.
It's still gonna give you what you want. It just might not, and stealth still matters. But making it so that you don't have to stop in hindering terrain is great. Again, the change to Perplex just makes you think about it way different. One thing I always teach my new players is to perplex someone's defense down. Don't use your Perplex just for one attack. Perplex that target's defense down, that's just right. In case you miss. Now someone else can get another swing. And with the rule change to Perplex, now you perplex that 19 to an 18. Well, now I didn't hit it. Now it's a natural 18. Well, now it's a 17 now. So again, now punches and bunches. And that's what I think WizKids is really trying to do. They're trying to make the game where you actually want to fight. If I want to watch a tabletop game like this that has realistically the two of the top IPs in the world, I want to see action. I want to see end game all the time. I want to see it. Yes, strategy still is involved with moving around, but let's be honest about the situation. The game is fun when we're actually rolling dice. For some, let me back up. Some don't want to roll dice, and I understand. But for a good portion of people who play this game, we just want to roll some dice, man. I just want to put my favorite heroes on, and I want to roll dice.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if the game speeds up and I mean, yeah, I agree with both of you. The more gameplay you can get, I mean, it's a great game. So the more games per day you can get fit in a day, I think there's something to be said for that. And I think rolling dice, the more turns you can get in a game for sure. I think Perplex, the changes to it are not that bad actually, because I think they're actually good in a way. Because I do agree with that. There is a feel bad moment to, swiftly
getting hit for 6.
Yeah. But also, I mean, I do see the other side of the coin because now Well, no, that's just another tangent that I came up with was like, there are a lot of like don't die figures out there too. So like,
Sure,
how do you deal with because a lot of figures now have a lot of staying power in the game
they do.
compared to the way they used to. So I, it is nice to have extra damage in those cases. But overall, I think that it's better to eliminate that feel bad moment of getting hit for six, and I also think that that Perplex you get a you usually have a choice to make between perplexing attack and perplexing damage, and I think that it speeds it up because now you don't have that choice anymore. You have to perplex attack. Well, you don't have to, but that's usually what happens. Is you're usually either perplexing attack or damage. So when it's your turn and
Yeah,
you're attacking, I
absolutely,
think
Tony. I mean,
think
we've
we
actually
lost
seen
Antonio for a second. So I'm
he'll
just
be
going
back
to
shortly.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, here he goes.
Based on what you said, yeah, absolutely. Believe it or not, WizKids actually have been introducing the ability of the use of perplex on certain characters, all the while limiting it just to movement, attack, defense, maybe range, and not and excluding damage. That's actually been around in the game for the last couple of years with certain figures. And so the change to perplex now in 2021 to me isn't really a big surprise at all. It just goes to show you that they actually are testing certain changes they want to take with the game to see how it affects gameplay, and they put it into and it goes out there and they try it out and they see that it's a success, and it also helps a lot of a lot of new people come on board because now with the changes to close combat expert and range combat expert, no longer do I have to sit there and think, all right, well, should I just do the 2 extra damage and save this for that? And I know exactly what it's going to be. Now I can actually running shot, and if my character happens to have range combat expert, I'm getting the +1 attack and +1 damage. And then I'm looking for maybe other enhancers to boost up the character's damage,
which helps them design better figures.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how excited I am to hear that close combat expert now combos with charge. Now, one of my favorite characters from comics is Iron Fist. I love the story, how he obtained the fist, the Iron Fist itself, and but it always used to just bother me that I couldn't just charge in, and he's a martial arts expert. He knows exactly where to hit you and how to hit you, but he can't
Abdul
use
is
his
not a
close combat
specialist, man.
expert. He's
He's
now
not
he
a
is.
specialist, man.
It's just he just comes in now, man. Listen, he's got the charge. You can definitely give him flurry with the arc arms, right? Here he comes. I'm gonna hit your. I've got a tall attack. I may have 3 damage, but I'm gonna swing twice. So guess what's happening?
Swing twice with precision strike.
With precision strike, the loss of precision strike, the benching of precision strike, I think it encourages people to use outwit more. Am I disappointed that precision strike is going away? Yes, and here's why. Let's say I don't want to play a outwit heavy team. I want to stick to a particular theme team. I understand there are changes coming to theme teams, and hopefully there are changes for the better. I understand that it may or may not favor the person with the higher, number of characters on their team, named or generic. But we'll see what when that happens. We'll deal with that then. The changes to these powers, the mentioning of precision strike, I'm a little love loss. I would like to see it stay around.
But remember, yeah. Abdul, remember when precision strike first came out and they gave it to everybody, and like your Daredevils, your Spider-Mans just were screwed with the Spider-Man set dropping a couple months back. Mm-hmm. Precision strike screws a whole bunch of them out of their thing. Realistically, rolling a 6 is hard. Even rolling a 5-6 is still hard. But being like, well, you know what? I got precision strike, and that just means now, like, whether it's close or range, now you got to roll this 6. what it does is it keeps characters like Spider-Man from really shining, and characters like him, if they don't do something broken like 1776, it keeps them from even thinking about being played, because Precision Strike is given out so freely, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Precision Strike. Go ahead, Tony.
no, I just had a thought. So,
Hmm?
what would your response be to those people that are saying, or that might say that taking away all these decisions, like pushing, um,
Sure.
range combat expert, close combat expert, um, taking away all these different decisions making parts of HeroClix is, although it may be making the game easier and maybe speeding up the game, that it's also dumbing the game down. What do you think about that?
In terms of dumbing the game, go ahead. I'm
Or
sorry.
just like taking away
No, no, go,
a
Abdul. By all means,
strategic
go.
element to the game, taking away strategy.
I can understand. I can completely understand why they would, why one would say and or feel that. Is it a strategy to, to incorporate certain abilities into your game? Sure. Is it a strategy to be able to memorize the clicks, the dials on many, if not all, the hero clicks? Absolutely. But we've seen this before. WizKids has actually started to and is continuing to streamline the game. Why? Because they would like to see us, one, get back to the very basic reason why we play the game, because we enjoy it. We enjoy using our figure, but in the past, I couldn't play my favorite hero because he or she was too expensive, wasn't as competitive as the other figure that's in the same set that has hypersonic speed. Now I can actually feel that particular figure. So it opens up the field to a lot more ideas behind team building, and I think it's going to encourage more team building. One of the items that my team and I pride ourselves on is individuality as far as team building and ideas. We encourage each other to go above and beyond the current build that we started with, and I believe that's going to spill over to the rest of the community. Not everyone completely is going to buy into it, because you can't please all the people all of the time, but these changes, they are honestly for the better.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to the go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Antonio, go ahead. I was just gonna go to you.
I think the dumbing down of the game is only if you think that making a character that can wipe out a whole squadron of people with one cost of action isn't dumbing down the game.
True.
Dumbing down the game is making it so if you think that the game is going to be dumbed down, then did you like Colossal Retaliation? Colossal Retaliation is not the most strategic, thought-provoking tactic in the game, and it was loved by the whole community as a whole. And Rain and Flash 1, do you think dumbing down the game is making it so that a character can simply walk next to you or over you and deal damage to you and drop out pogs and make pogs like mid-action again without having to really worry about positioning? I just got to kind of be where I'm at now and deal massive amounts of damage to you. If people didn't think that dumbing down the game were those broken elements or very good or meta or cost effective things, if you didn't think that was dumbing down the game, then why all of a sudden are you going to say that just because we want the game to go a little bit faster, just because we want it to look a certain way, that now you can't still hold a lot of strategy in the game? When you take one thing away, or when you kind of back off on one thing, then again, you allow to push one thing forward. And you would, like I've said a few times, you allow people to kind of look outside the box. Like Abdul said, in our team, we like to think outside the box. I'm not that huge of a meta player. I usually really support my friends just because I like to do stuff that's more strategic. I don't think a lot of the pieces in the meta are the most strategic type of strategies in the world anyway, but that's just me. But I don't think that the game is being dumbed down. I think it's being more accessible. It's easy to learn this game. Mastery of this game is the complexity of the game. Position is complexity. Timing of when to attack. Sometimes you have to just clear so that so just in case someone really barrages you, you now won't be completely pushed out and not be able to attack and hope that you evade or that your defense holds up. That's a strategy into itself. Like I said before, perplexing a person's defense down, perplexing someone's damage down, perplexing someone's movement up so they can get further. That's all strategy, and those are things still in the game. So for anyone to say that the game is being dumbed down, I completely wholeheartedly disagree, and I think that they would have to go back and look at the way that they play and say, am I playing this? How do I play? If you only play in the scope of is it meta? Is it broken? Can I deal lots of damage for free? Do I really not have to roll dice to deal damage? Remember cop cars, Abdul?
Oh, absolutely. I remember that World's final match. I sat there and watched.
Cop cars was a thing. Come on.
Cop cars were.
Anthony, let me tell you. Oof. Go ahead, Abdul.
No. What I was going to say is I can tell you honestly, we place tested.
I'm not familiar with cop cars. I want to hear this story.
Oh my goodness!
So
when they first came out, cop cars were either you loved them or you hate them, right? So one of our teammates and I would sit there at one of the game stores that was close to us. I think it was Dragon's Den or something over in Saddlebrook. We would go there almost every day and play test against cop cars. We take turns switching back and forth to see what we could do. And we came to the conclusion that, if you play more than one cop car, which chances are if you did, you were going to end up winning the match, like 85 to 90% of the time. And there were plenty of damage dealers that were out at the time that still had trouble dealing with the cop cars because the traits behind it, I think, what is it? They would arrest them in
super long dials, super long dials,
absolutely. And
they just eat damage.
They would take it and they would literally just take out your other figures, and then to sit there and then watch someone in the world's finals play 3 cop cars in Golden Age at that time, and I literally just saw him each turn just bump his opposing figures, deal 1 penetrating or unavoidable at the time, and then not even place an action token. This guy, who became the world champion eventually, did not roll any dice outside of just rolling to see who goes first and who picks map. Was it.
That's not dumbing down the game at all.
Absolutely not.
Was the cop car like a figure, or was that like a vehicle, or what was that? So
yeah,
it's a vehicle. It's a vehicle.
It was a vehicle. In the Batman set, vehicles, like regular size vehicles, first came in the Batman set. It was like the Batmobile, Batwing. Cop car was like one that people weren't even paying attention to at first. And then when they were like, whoa, with this cop car, you can handcuff someone to the bumper, is what it was called. Handcuff them to the bumper. And then you could just like move, and then you dealt damage to them. There was another world championship that back in the day, there was a Ghost Rider figure, Johnny Blaze figure. And there was the resource, the
Rider for Hire
utility belt resource, right? And ATA, when ATAs used to be in the game, something called Heroes for Hire, that allowed you to do just an insane thing with this Ghost Rider. There was a world championship match that was over in 5 minutes. Talk to me about dumbing the game down then. A 5-minute world championship match. Are we talking about like a old school Mike Tyson match or something like that, where it like ends in the first round within like a minute or something? Are we talking like Ronda Rousey when she first came out, like ended it in 30 seconds? You can't tell me that a strategic game that put all this thought into it ends simply because I was able to one stroke your figure on turn two. Turn 2, the game is over.
Yep.
Are you kidding me? Turn 2. You cannot tell me that the game right now is dumbed down.
The game right now is actually
no. I definitely don't agree with that sentiment. I think
not you.
I agree with you.
I would.
No, yeah, because I would never say that. I think that the game is definitely not being dumbed down, and I think that I agree with you guys. I think that it gets us to play the game and that I think you can find other strategies where some strategies
Absolutely.
are going away, like figuring out when to um, perplex damage or attack. You know, that decision making, that's not really a big deal in the grand scheme of things. I think there are other strategies that are gonna come up, and I think it's good. So, but so
Awesome.
I also wanted to
It's gonna be nasty. It'll be
I
fun.
also wanted to McConnell Lamar asked this question on Facebook, so I wanted to pose this to you guys. What can we do as experienced
Hmm.
players or as veteran players in conjunction with these rules changes to help bring in or help retain new players?
Well, I want to go first on that one because McConnell, which we call Mac,
Yep.
that's the judge at one of the venues I play at, King's Game in Brooklyn, New York. So shout out to King's Games. Um, it's a great place to play. Abdul and Anthony both have played there. Um, with that being the case, like keeping new players in bringing new players in is not all up to us, I think, and especially in this time right now where we can't even physically be in the stores. I can't count on both my hands how many times I've taken Magic players and introduced them to the game while they were playing Magic, and in between their matches they came and looked at HeroClix and like, what's this? And I was like, it's better than your game. Come, I'll teach you right now, and I'll give you some figures right now. Let's just give you some figures. As a matter of fact, like forget those boring cards. Look at these cool figures I got. This is cool, right? You like Batman and Superman?
Yep.
So word of mouth is all that we can do to bring new players in. As
Sure.
old players, we have to literally think outside the box. We have to say, guess what? Either we hate the changes and we're just going to get out of the game because it is dumbing it down or it's too easy or too fast or whatever, or we just simply have to, like we've been talking about this whole time, we have to think of new ways to win. We have to think of new ways to build our teams.
Yep.
The dials are going to change in a year. This time everyone knows that HeroClix puts out clicks fast. By the end of this calendar year, the sets will look completely different. And in another year
Yep.
and a half or another year, this time next year, realistically, a lot of people's collections, some people only play what's modern, you know? So not everybody collects all the figures. So I think old players are going to stay in if they actually take up and look at these new changes as a challenge, which is what it is, a challenge. Just because powers are taken away or kind of dumbed down or streamlined doesn't mean that you automatically pull up and win, because eventually those figures that you might win with right now, aka a Vulture or and some of the other teams that win right now, again in another year or so, or when those figures eventually rotate, now you got to figure out a new way to win. Now show me how good you are now without being able to perplex up damage to 6 and then hitting twice and then hitting twice and then hitting twice, or doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that. Now let's see if you can adapt. That's what I would say, that to all the new players that I talk to and people on our team, it's a challenge to me now to see if we can still be good, if we still can actually maintain some of our skill with the change. So yeah, and it's up to WizKids too. WizKids has to advertise this game a lot better than it does. If I'm being honest about the situation, I love the game. The game does not get nearly enough advertisement as it should. When I scroll on my phone, I see advertisements for everything on Instagram. WizKids should just break the bank a teeny bit and make an ad that they run on social medias, so that in between I'm playing Candy Crush, HeroClix pops up. When I'm scrolling up, HeroClix pops up. When I'm going through my feed, HeroClix pops up eventually, especially me loving comic books. If you're a comic book fan, which billions of people are on the face of the planet, how is it billions of people love comic books but do not know what HeroClix is?
How many
And I
people do
know
you
it's
think?
not
How many people do you think play HeroClix? Like ballpark.
more than that are on the internet. Let's say that more people play this game than what are on the internet. Let's
Yeah.
be honest about the situation. All of us know we've had players at our venues that make us not want to play the game anymore, not even want to show up, because, oh, I got to play you. So some people are turned off by that. Some people are, some people only collect one of our players in our group, shout out to Nancy, her fiance started collecting HeroClix just for the sculpts. He was like, I guess I'll start playing the game because I want to learn, but like he started just collecting for the sculpts. He didn't even know what it was. And if you love comics, you should know what this game is. Because to me, this is the best game I've ever played in my lifetime. I would literally give all my video games away and keep my HeroClix because of the fun that I've had with this game, the games that I've had, epic games that I've had. With literally the both of you, I've had epic games that I mentioned every time that I talk about playing y'all. I go back to a game where I played you guys. Yeah. You can't get that in a video game the same way, I think. You can't get that in all the games that people might necessarily play. So I think word of mouth and WizKids actually opening up their pockets a little bit and making some advertising is how we, as players, expand the game.
Yeah, no worries. I think you touched on a lot of great points. One, you know, as veteran players, we want to encourage, you know, new players to come along. From a personal standpoint, I want to see my opponent be better than what I am now, because then it gives me another chance to take a look at the game again and say, hey, listen, how can I improve upon this current strategy? I thought I covered everything. And you know what? Every once in a while, you may go 3-0 at your local venue and win for a while. And then you may go to Worlds or national tournament or state tournament and do fantastic there. You know, you can also maybe not have it as a great time. You know, I remember my first quote unquote major tournament was Clixathon way back in the day. You know, my first trip down to Maryland was a great trip, bunch of great friends that we went down with. And you know what? Chaos War was out. I didn't do as well as I had hoped in the team tournament, but just being around the other players that they helped make that event fun. You know, I may have not won what I wanted to win, but I tell you what, I met a lot of new great players, you know, friendships that have lasted from that point on now. Won some great prizes down there, and I can continue to enjoy the game the way it is now. There may be some sets that I'm not totally into, but that doesn't mean that, you know, I hate the game. You know, as veteran players, you know, we should definitely encourage the newer players, help along with the strategy. If I'm in the middle of a tournament with you know, an opponent that I've never seen before, that I know is definitely new to the game, and I see a way for them to win, guess what? I will let them know, hey, listen, I'm not telling you how to play, but if you do this and this, and you hit that roll, maybe a 7, but you know, you hit that roll, you're actually going to beat me in this match.
They I've heard you say that too, Abdul. I've heard you say that.
Thank you. Listen, it's all about competition. Competition to me is fun. Being able to bring to the table, you know, a new idea is fantastic for me, because I love new ideas, and we see it year after year. As veteran players, we're able to adapt to what's coming out, and you know, we want to continue to grow the game. We want to continue to enjoy what WizKids has provided to us, and this is the way that we can do it as veteran players. Encourage, you know, local folks to come in, give the game a shot again, because now things are being simplified, or you know, they're being sped up so we can enjoy more games of HeroClix. You know, that's one thing you can do. We also have the ability to do virtual play online, you know, so that's another thing we can do as veteran players, is just to encourage people to play more. The more you play, the more you experience, the more fun you're gonna have.
I don't know how there's no add-on like Roll20 for like HeroClix right now. Like, come on, man. Like, that's people are playing on Roll20. Why is there no like pop-up ad in the
I gotta say though, shout out to Tony Bruno here for one, hosting tonight, and two, for putting together that tournament. What he and his friends did behind the scenes to make the maps look better, and to have the pogs just have all those abilities on there. Fantastic idea. And I believe if they use that model, any tournament uses that model, I believe they're going to encourage more players. I would like to play. You know what? Since the pandemic happened last year, I really hadn't had a chance to play Clix with anyone. Then I essentially took a break. But Tony asked me if I wanted to be in the tournament. I begrudgingly said yes, but it was probably one of the happiest decisions I made recently regarding Clix. You know, it got me hungry again to go out and start team building again and saying, hey guys, what do you think of this? What do you okay, thank you. I appreciate you letting me know that, you know what, this is actually working better. And there are times where people have given me advice and I said, you know what, I appreciate the advice. I'm going to roll with this. And, you know, it's worked for me. And then other times it's worked where it's just, I've taken people's advices and tweaked my team this way, and I've done much better with it. You know, it's great to get feedback from you know, fellow players and be able to understand that, yeah, you're good, but you're not perfect. You know?
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Abdul, for talking about you know, my tournament and you know, giving me props on the Roll20. I love Roll20. I know, you know, I get where some people don't like to play Roll20 because you know, I mean, yeah, I know, Antonio, I know you do not like Roll20, but I mean,
needs my dice, man. Needs my dice.
I get both sides. I mean, my brother plays D&D and he won't play D&D on Roll20 because he will not roll digital dice. He will not do it. He has to roll real dice. But I also, you know, like for me, like it gets me playing more. You know, playing online because you know you just actually play more games. You know, for me, like driving out to my store, you know, 45 minutes away, and going on Wednesday nights. That's great. I love doing it, but I don't get to do it as often as, you know, I could wake up on a Saturday and play a bunch of games on a Saturday to Sunday from my home, you know, with people all across the world. You know, like you could just do that whenever you want, you know. And there are online tournaments that are supported. I mean, if you go to like Rock or something, Rock Online, they have tournaments online. You know, and other people are just running their own tournaments. You know, especially during the pandemic, people have been running tournaments, charity tournaments, and regular competitive tournaments online. So you could play whenever on Roll20. That's why I like it. I just get to play, you know, because actually playing. I mean, physical. There's nothing that beats physical playing to me, but this is the best alternative if you need to play, if you really want to get a game in, you know. So that's why I like Roll20.
Like Roll22, just I'm with your friend. That automatic dice roller never works, man.
Hey, man.
I think you actually had one of my matches on there where I had all I needed to do was roll a 6 or a 7, and it just came up like 5 or less, and I'm like, wow, this is really painful.
A story for Roll20 is nationals or worlds this past year. Worlds. I was like, again, shout out to my friend Nancy, who's on part of the team. She had to drop out of Worlds. So she was like, here, Antonio, take my spot. And so I begrudgingly took the spot because I was like, all right, let's not waste it. And I had a team that I was thinking about anyway that I liked. So I ended up playing the team. So I think in my like second or third match, I go up against Ben Chung, former world champ. You know, I've known Ben for a long time. And the funny thing about it is, it's called, me and him both were rolling the worst that we've ever probably rolled in here ever. We rolled so many 4s and 5s. It was, I mean, and again, Ben's a good player because he rolls well. Anyone that knows that plays against me knows I usually roll pretty well. 4s and 5s. I was like, oh no, this is not for me. This is because I don't want to like rage punch my computer. Oh no. Now, but I will say, from hearing you guys say this, I will commit in this new year to just playing some fun games with my friends and enjoying some HeroClix and get more into play again. And pushing, we play test. So since we can't necessarily get together now, I am going to commit to playing more games. Just suck it up and enjoy the fact of just playing the game, trying some figures out. And just enjoying some talk and some banter with people while we sit and play, because that's the joy of the game, is just sitting and talking, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, I want to also move on to I think we talked a lot about the rules changes, and I think we talked a lot about some other topics as well, but I think everybody wants to know about the previews from Future Foundation. I mean, that set's coming out soon. Hopefully, if it's on time, February 17th. So here's hoping. So that's like
That
really
soon, huh?
that's really soon.
I thought it
So
was the 26th. I thought it was the 26th, Tony.
is it? I
I
could be
thought it was.
wrong.
I thought it got pushed. I thought it had already got pushed back to the 27th
Already, I
or
heard
to the
Scott. I
26th.
heard Scott on his unboxing say the 17th. I don't know.
I mean, if it does come out the 17th, hell yeah. But I thought it got pushed back to like the 20 something, 26, I think.
Okay.
I thought.
Okay.
But
So yeah,
Yeah, it's
we'll see.
both
Let me.
options are possible.
So I have a bunch of topics laid out. I have a bunch of stuff on my list about Future Foundation.
go.
So number one, what's your opinion of mission points? How do you think this changes the game?
And Tony, you want to start this one off? I've got a mission points.
Mission points.
Mission points, my man.
My point on mission points is that it is pointing in the wrong direction already.
Really?
Yes,
Really?
man. It's already.
Okay.
But it's because people are already being like, how can I win without really attacking my people? How can I use Owatu and paparazzis to just make all of my rolls re-rolls, and then how can I do it? Like it's already turning into something that realistically is supposed to be strategic, and people are already trying to warp it to be something that becomes broken and becomes loophole-ish. The game, the game can stretch and can expand until you make it something other than what it is intended to be. Unfortunately, that's why we have to nerf stuff and do this thing. Well, everyone knows that colossal retaliation triggers off of I attack this colossal, or I hurt somebody,
right?
Or I hurt somebody. You shouldn't just be able to activate colossal retaliation. The word retaliation is in the power. Let's be real about the situation. Well, it's worded like this. So now we have to change up stuff, and we have to errata things because people are trying to misuse the fact of, well, this word says this. And even though everyone knows what the exact ruling is on, or like the way it's supposed to be, you know what it is. Everyone knows what it is. So when it comes to mission points, guess what? Again, seeing just Uatu, which is great. Uatu's great. He's a great piece. Guess what? People are already trying to contort him. Herbie's a fun piece. People are already trying to contort him to be something that's not going to be good for the game. Why is it you need 20 points to get to mission, to get a mission point victory. 20 is a lot.
It is.
Why are you trying to be like, I can get 20 mission points by turn 3? How? It makes no sense that you're trying to contort the way that you know the roles were made to be, or you know the power is made to be. Uatu is made to be like, if you hit and it probbed it and now it's to miss, mission point. Not I rolled a 6, you rolled a 7, mission point. Huh? That's not how this power is supposed to be. You know it, I know it. So why are you trying to make it into a thing?
Well, Antonio, would you yourself field a mission point team, a team based only on mission points?
First off, yes, because I think theme team's actually the worst thing that's ever happened to HeroClix. Realistically, it's the worst thing. I think it's the worst thing. Abdul, you know, man. Before it used to be, I'm just playing stuff that works. I'm playing stuff that's fun.
Sure. But
now it's like, now you automatically, when you look at a card, you say he doesn't have this keyword, so he's trash. They don't have this keyword, garbage. I only collect this keyword, garbage. I'm all for the game being something that you can enjoy so many different types of characters. Scott Porter loves the game, and Scott Porter's videos, he loves the game because of his love of comics. I feel like just, again, being able to look at characters I do not know and enjoy them is great. Mission points is going to make it so that people are going to even laser focus even more onto what only is going to get around mission points, and it's going to skew the game in a bad way. So I do not like it. I do not like it as it stands right now. Can it make it fun? Of course they can. I'm sure that they will. At this moment, with the current things that they have, I'm not already liking what I've seen people already cooking up. It's not cool.
I can understand those points, and you know, I can, from one aspect, totally understand why it may be bad for the game, or it may change the game for worse. And yes, absolutely, when a new figure debuts, you know, and it's got some amazing abilities for such a low point cost. What is he, 40 points?
30.
30 points, right? He's a giant, 30 points, range 12, 0 attack. Who really cares? You're not using him for attack. Is that a 19 defense with invulnerability? Right? About 4 or 5 clicks deep.
Power Cosmic.
Power Cosmic. That's an amazing piece. Okay. First, you've got the 12 range, probability control. If I were to field that figure, there's a number of reasons why I would field it over the fact that I'm fielding it, that it has mission points. One is the 12 range probability control. Now it gives me the ability to move certain figures up and not really have to worry about, okay, am I in proper position to have a use of a prob, you know, because I may miss this attack. Now I definitely have, you know, a giant on my team that can see within range, you know, and likewise, if that individual, if an opposing character comes within range of Uatu, now I can use his prob in addition to any other probs I may have available. You know, mission points in itself it's a very interesting change to the game, and I personally like it because it's a different win condition. Am I going to be able to accumulate 20 mission points by turn 3? I honestly don't think so. What a lot of people are forgetting is, one, you still have to roll the dice for the game. If you end up hitting your attacks and you use probability control to change an attack to a miss and then a miss to an attack, that's all well and good, but you still need to be within Uatu's range for the mission point to be accumulated, 1. 2, you have to miss and then prob your own attack and then, you know, roll, and likewise have the benefit of your opposing character, you know, the opposing team be within range of Uatu as well, in order to benefit at the very least from his probability control, right? If I were to sit down at a table and my opponent plopped down Uatu, and throughout the course of the game, I see he's affecting gameplay negatively for me, I'm changing my strategy very quickly and going after that 30-point figure with the invulnerability. I don't know if he has super senses,
but dial he does.
Well,
it's mid dial.
He's 5 clicks long. He's only 30 points.
5 clicks long is fine, but if I have Psychic Blast, Range Combat Expert, or Enhancement on my teams, which you know I generally do, guess what?
Psychic Blast, Range Combat Expert works together now.
Oh my goodness, crap. Yes. Even better, Running Shot, Psychic Blast, Range Combat Expert. Very little thought needed to be behind that. I will advance out my 30-point figure to take out one of the key pieces on my opponent's team. Absolutely, I will do that. If I see, like I was saying before, if I see Uatu is actually affecting the game negatively for myself, I'm going to turn my attention to him. If he goes down and I know he goes down and you're in trouble, I'm going to take that chance. I'm going to take, you know, every chance possible to take him out of the game. So mission points, until people fully test it out, they're going to have negative things to say about it. They're going to look for ways to twist it. Sure, you can run a team with all the characters have probability control and, you know, Watu's in the backfield and you're going to you have to try and protect him. If he's on your team and someone's coming after him, he's 30 points, yes. He's 5 clicks deep, yes. But if he's one of your main probbers, he goes down and you have 1 or none left on your team, and you need that probability control sometimes, that's going to be difficult for you to recover from. You know, so as good as he is, he's still a target. Would I field him? Absolutely. Mission points? I'm looking forward to see what other different mission points, missions there are going to be. You know, once Uatu's off the board, if you had 19 tokens on Uatu, but he gets KO'd, there goes all 19. There goes your 1 win condition, you know? So I like what WizKids is doing right now with this. I'm waiting to see what else they have.
Yeah. I mean, I view Uatu kind of like a better version of Mr. Oz. A little bit.
Oz is better though, actually, if you ask me.
Oz is different. I can see. Why would you say Oz is better?
I would say Oz is better because Oz adds the TK. He adds especially now that TK, they strip TK of like being able to move opponents. Now, when you use TK, like, okay, well, you just moved him up 6. I need you to take 2 steps forward and 2 steps back, like Paul Abdul used to say. Like, I need you to do that, and that makes him better. Him being able to see through stealth, which Uatu does not do. Again, you can, let's just say just for funsies, now you can add, like Scarface. Again, I'm just playing now. Scarface or Power Gem to Mr. Oz. Mr. Oz doesn't push any longer. He does have super senses. He does have stealth.
Oh, that's right.
And he does. Yeah. See, now look what you just did, Abdul. Look what you just did. You see what you just did?
That's right. He's amazing. He's better than he was before. I'm glad you brought that up.
Now you can TK twice.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Looking like your eyes just lit up. You was like, oh yeah. Now no pushing damage. He gets insane. So guess what? So now you gotta guess what? Now he adds another strategy to the game. So Uatu is great. Uatu is really great. Without being able to damage yourself. Uatu is not as good as Mr. Oz is. Mr. Oz adds more to your team right off the break. He gives you prob through everything. Unlike Uatu. Uatu relatively has to put himself in range or line of fire to see someone. The 19 is not what with range combat expert changing, a 19 is not all that anymore. And like you just said, now you can have Psychic Blast and range. You can have Psychic Blast, just trade it. Now I can just give somebody the Power Gem or again Scarface, and then guess what? Now I got range combat expert. What's up? So I'm gonna hit your 19. Okay, I'll prob it again. But like you said, I can potentially just deal 5 damage to you. Gone.
Yeah, but the days of dealing 5 damage in one shot are kind of becoming a lot harder to do that.
Not for Star Jammers, it's not.
Believe it or not, there's a lot of teams, there's a lot of figures out there that folks just glaze over because listen, this may be a super rare, but this Chase looks so awesome. He's still amazing. I want to play this Chase. Now those other figures that actually have that 4 damage, if they happen to, be able to equip that Power Gem that automatically gives you a +1 to damage when you're holding it, when it's equipped. Now you don't even have to think about, okay, well, do I want to do 1-1, 2-0, 0-2? No, it's a straight 1-1. So now that figure of yours that has the Power Gem has a +2 damage to either close or range combat, And
if you roll high, even more.
Yeah, it speeds up the game. It's
and no one was checking for the Power Gem. Nobody was checking for the Power Gem.
No, the Power Gem was always there, always good. Now it's even better than it was. Think of you brought up a great figure before. Think of the Power Gem on Chase Thanos, Ultra Chase Thanos. Ridiculous. He's got what sidestep on that 110 point starting click. Sidestep, range combat expert.
Screed bumps up to his range now. And well, now just shoot somebody's face off, Thanos. Thanks for playing. Beginning of next turn, Power Cosmic. I got willpower, so I just take this token off myself.
I love the changes to the game.
Come on, man. What else you got, Tone?
So, what do you guys think of as far as the Future Foundation set? Low-cost figures, because this set seems to have a lot of low-cost figures. The captain and the sidekick mechanic. I think Abdul had mentioned earlier too when we were chatting about this that a lot of the game is going to be made up of a lot of figures now on teams. We're gonna start seeing teams with a lot of figures on them. I think even Scott said that in his unboxing today that we're going to start seeing a lot of teams with a lot of figures because these figures are like 30 points, 20 points,
and good
figures.
30 points and good.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on that? Like, good or bad for the game?
Yes, good and bad, and just thinking about the player themselves. If you build a teams are they were brought up before. Theme teams, in my opinion, they're I love playing theme teams. It helps me create a team a lot faster than I used to. Um, before theme teams, before keywords, as Tony had mentioned, um, we would take figures that were the best at what they could do and what they can do on a team for me, and then just play them as such. Having keywords for figures actually goes back to more comic accurate teams for me, which is something I absolutely love. I would love to just feel a Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, a Dark Avengers team, Secret Avengers team, whatever I wanted to play at the time, right? So that's gonna help out the game in that sense.
I
Yeah.
think anyone complaining about low point characters,
Uh-huh.
I hope they also don't play Wendigo. I hope they also don't play Dark Phoenix. I hope
You
they
know they
never
do.
touch Groot. I hope they never touch Carnage. I hope they never touch Surtur. I hope they never touch any of those figures if you're complaining about a 30-point figure that doesn't do 4 or 5 damage on its own, can't attack you from across the map. This is a great thing. The best part about these small figures that I've seen is the fact that these are figures and characters that haven't been usually made, either made before or
Mm-hmm.
have been made in a long time, like the Power Pack. Last time we saw Power Pack was Secret Invasion, and they weren't good realistically. Now they have a great trait that is actually like the only one in Power Pack back in the day that was good was G, and that's because he had TK. Now all of them legitimately you can use TK and then they can switch powers and then be like, okay, now I'm using TK, or I'm using exploit weakness now because I'm based with this person. So again, more options.
Yep.
And now you have more ways to really again flex your muscle, think outside the box, have more fun. I do agree with you, Abdul, when it comes to like the keyword aspect of being able to play thematic things, but the game isn't built that way at this point. It's not. It's built to be non-thematic, which I'm okay with because I believe in what I call Marvel vs. Capcom clicks, where it's like I want to have Mega Man, Spider-Man, and Strider on my team. Like I want to have all three of these guys and mix it up. And low point characters allows me to do that. It allows us to do it. I think anything that allows us to play more, like you said earlier, Tony, have more matches, have more, and for me, have more variety with the characters that are being used is fantastic. I think that a 20-point character should be like game breaking? I do not. Do I think they should still be usable and fun and be able to add something to a really great team? Of course I should. But again, I'm never going to play a 25-point power pack character over 5 more points and I get Dark Phoenix.
Right.
Yeah.
Think about what I just said. A whole character versus 5 more points and I get Dark Phoenix. So anyone complaining about these small characters aren't really great for the game, we already have had that in the game where if you look back 2 years, you would see people with 4 or 5 Carnages.
Yeah. I was at a Worlds tournament with where my opponent had oh goodness, it was back in ADW days where Giant Girl was out, and I saw a match
where Giant Girl,
where Fast Force's Giant Girl was on the map. There was almost 30 of them, I think. So having a lot of figures on a team is nothing new for the game of HeroClix. Okay. There are theme teams now out there that are plus 11, plus 12, 13, whatever the case may be. Do I see an increase in number of figures on someone's team? I do. So it's nothing new for us to see that many figures on a team.
Not at all.
So then what would you do?
I can't wait to see it.
What would you guys do about, going back to the WizKids Changes a little bit? It looks like they're going to change theme team and the way theme teams work. They mentioned that in the article at the very end of the article in Article 3. What would you do to change theme teams? the way they work now, or would you change them at all?
I would. Honestly, I would cap the theme team bonus at +5 for starters. Also, with regard to the theme team probabilities that you get, I would actually cap those at 3, 1 per every 100 point of the build. You know, those subtle changes, regardless if it's named or if it's named, you should be able to get an additional bonus there, maybe +6, or whatever whatever works. But yeah, once you start doing that, then maybe folks will not build. They may bump up a certain figure from 120 points or 110 points to 160 points, because now you want to utilize the top dial of a certain figure, because you know that you're only getting, at best, you're getting a +5 theme team bonus when you sit down to do map rolls, right? That's one way that WizKids can actually update the changes, in my opinion. What would you do, Tony? Antonio?
I think I like the ideas of 1 per 100 points of the game, which would cap it at 3 apiece. 3 plus for your map bonus, 3 for your theme team.
Interesting.
It is disheartening to a new player to walk in the thing and say, well, your team is very this heavy or that heavy, and your main figure has to have this and that. So you know what? I +9 because I'm playing a whole bunch of characters that really don't do too much. But like you said, Abdul, I need this one figure to really shine. So I need like a whole bunch of filler, which again is fine. But now I got +11 monster team. I got +9 Avengers team. Again, because they made 10-point giant girls that weren't unique, that you can have you can make it so that you can warp the game by playing so many that you can make your starting area like it fills up your starting area with giant girls, so you get to push your other characters further in the game. So I think at the end of the day, it really is they need to change it. It's running the game. It has shifted the game into a way where people are more worried about the map bonus winning you the game before you even put the figures on the map. And yes, that is a very important map role, and choosing a map is very important. Sure. But skewing it so that if I just really want to play a certain amount of figures or certain figures, again, if I want to play Starjammers, that's just +5. I physically can't get more than +5 on Starjammers. I cannot do it, right? There's no way I can get more than 5. You can get like 9 characters on Justice League. You know what I'm saying?
Easily.
You can get 9 characters on possibly an Avengers team or something like that. Maybe not at this very moment, but so will it be? Hopefully, they change it. I like what Abdul said. I think that's the perfect way. 1 per 100 points of the build total, and then that cuts it right then and there. And then again, I think you're going to see people shift away from even having to have theme team, because now you make the power of probability control less valuable when I know that I can just keep a character in the back. You're my theme team probber. So I don't have to pay for probability control in essence of having it on the dial. I really don't even have to worry about losing it. So that makes Outwit a little bit less powerful, because now any of these 10 characters that can see me can prob at any given time. Instead of being like, well, you have probability control, Scarlet Witch, so I'm outwitting your probability control. Well, that's fine. This person's going to prob me, and that person's going to prob me, and that person's going to prob me. And now I'm won because mission points. So I'm all for them shrinking it down and stripping away some of the power that I'm for. If, like Abdul said, I'm for thematic things. I would love for named keywords to only get a specific bonus every time, like certain kind of like team abilities. I would love that. I know it's not going to happen, but I would love that to be going forward. Like, oh, Avengers get this. So whatever Avengers team you have also it gets a certain thing. The X-Men get this. The Justice League gets that. Batman family gets this. I would love to see that, but that is making it more complex, which I know they're trying to get away from. But overall, I do like that they're going to change it, and we'll see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, like even
Awesome.
like this might be a radical idea, but like what if you just had theme teams give a +1 bonus and non-theme teams nothing. So just if you had a theme team, you'd get +1 map bonus, and then
you would see people not play it.
Well, that would encourage people to either if play a theme team if you like it, or if you don't like if you want to play other pieces together, you can. I don't know. Well, I guess WizKids wants to encourage people to play theme, just to because the pieces are meant to go together. So
yeah, the game's at a state where you can play certain generic theme teams and certain name theme teams. Even like Anthony was saying before, he wants to see he would like to play a variety of characters on a team. Sometimes that may not work. WizKids has been bringing out sets that allow you to more or less take generic keyword characters and bring them onto a name theme team. For example, out of the latest Spider-Man set, all the chases there you go. All the chases have some ability to have either warrior, ruler, scientist, soldier, whatever the keyword is to become part of a theme team. So now you can have the Captain America and you can have Spider-Man on the same team, as well as Hulk, because of a scientist. Leonardo developed the Venom, just brought over Hulk. Now all of them are on a set, on a named theme team. This is great team building. This is thinking a little bit outside the box too. Bringing in, even if you want to bring in that one DC character, your Superman is now teaming up with Thor, and it's not a problem because they're on a named theme team, thanks to Spider-Man, and his amazing friends.
And his amazing friends, which they need to redo.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's fun to create theme teams, and especially when you can mix and match especially with all that keyword manipulation. I think that makes the game fun. I think that's a fun element to the game. But yeah, they definitely need to cap it. I agree with both of you. I think they, and also I liked your comment about theme props, limiting theme props, because I think having 5 theme props could be a little too powerful. On top of whatever prop you have on your team as well. So.
No, granted, I mean it's having a theme prop also means that it does have a drawback. Thankfully though, with the change in rules to willpower, or I'm sorry, pushing damage, you can more or less now still use that theme team prop on that one character that you want to remain on that particular click.
Yeah, that's a good character that
I didn't even think about this. How does no pushing damage affect bystanders?
You mean like Pogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pogs.
Yeah. Because think of it like this now: if it holds true that there's essentially no more pushing damage, even for Pogs, there's a new piece out of the Fantastic Four set, right? His name's Turg. Right. So Turg's head, you generate them as a free action. Turg's head has hypersonic speed. Now that just literally means I can just send him out, turns in a row, and just watch him take a swing at somebody. And if he happens to hit, he hits, he'll deal 1. Now on top of that, you can also deal 1 damage because he flew through them or past them, whatever the trait says. So I
Tri-Sentinel killer is what he is. He's a Tri-Sentinel killer. Okay.
He potentially is, absolutely. He's a retaliator killer at this point, because there's a number of retaliators that have no damage reducers anymore.
A whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of them.
So if that character again is not unique at all, I expect to see someone feeling at least 3 or 4 of them, because he costs 40 points, I believe.
I don't know if he is unique. I thought he was like 30. I think he's like 30 points. I think he's like 30. He's a hold on. Yeah, he's a rare.
He's a rare. There he is. Core and Turd.
Yeah, core and turd. Yeah. So yeah, 25 points, man. Come on. So when the game changes, he can remove tokens off of himself to just move in position.
Mm-hmm.
If they change hindering terrain, now he can move freely in and out of hindering terrain. And now Turg, again, if you add the little girl on the squad and another one of the pieces, which, he's only 25 points. I think the girl is 15 points. Another one of the other figures is like 10 or 15 points for less than a quarter pretty much of your team build, or for 50 points, I think pretty much you can have 3 characters on your squad. She gives them all +1 to your stats. So now that Pog now has 10 move, 10 attack, and 2 damage now. So now realistically, it is a retail killer. So, and then if you want to break theme and play Alia Gregor, that makes all of the Pogs get +1 stats. Now that thing has 3 damage with 11 attack. So I think I think the great thing about the no pushing damage for Pogs is it actually does mess up the meta capabilities that was being used for, like, say, a Medusa, even though Medusa I think still plays the same, or like paparazzi. Like my Padawan, she loves paparazzis, and I do too. So it's called make them, like everyone knows, make them, have them do their thing, push them, make more. But now it's called have them do their thing, and then all of a sudden now they stay there. So if you make one, now you're just stuck with that one until somebody kills it. So I do think that there's checks and balances, and I think that's a good balance.
With the recent changes to the no pushing damage, believe it or not, Medusa actually just gained an element of mobility. Think of it like this. Now, if you couldn't, you can play that extra Medusa, and you can fly up as many characters. Who's the normal taxi for that team? Voyager, I believe.
Voyager. That's what I played in Nationals and almost made the top 16 with that. So
yeah, that team actually became a little bit better because now those Medusas can move on their own and still be on the top dial when they drop those hair tokens out adjacent to any number of characters. All these changes, again, it makes all the characters that were good even better than they were before.
Let me ask y'all this. Let me ask you a question real fast to both of y'all. Do you feel, because this is what I've seen pop up too, do you feel that the loss of pushing damage now makes characters who had indomitability over costed? Do you feel that way? I would like to know what you guys' opinions are.
Well, yeah, I mean, I believe that in a sense, currently the way things are, yes. When my understanding is when characters are actually developed at WizKids, the point cost does go up, a certain bit because said character now has Indomitable. But we do see a number of characters out in the game right now that already do have Indomitable. But does it actually reduce the quality of the figure? No, not at all. I mean, look at you've got Chase Thor, who has a mid click 75 points, was absolutely fantastic. Now he gets to keep Indomitable whether he's 125, 75, or 50. You get all that in that click, and it seems that it's in the beginning when Indomitable was first introduced. Yes, it seemed like it added a significant amount to the point cost of the character. Lately, with these sets, referring back to Thor, it seems as though it's not as costly as it used to be. So it looks like it's something that they were preparing to do eventually, and now they're ready to do it. And pushing damage, initially I was against it, because I would think about, a certain number of characters that I did want to have on the next click, second or third click. And that's the reason why I have them on the team. Or that one character such as Immortal Hulk that needs to be pushed to get to his good click. But maybe now, instead of pushing him to the good click, even though WizKids did respond in kind and say, you know what, we heard your feedback, and this is what we're doing, and that's one of the things I like about WizKids. I think this was one of the points you touched upon in the beginning, Antonio, is that you had said that WizKids probably should have just put the Wonder Woman set out, put the set out, not introduce, have as many powers in there, and just keep it business as usual. With them letting us know about it, in my opinion, I think it includes the player base into helping them design figures that they all want to play. So it's actually it's a benefit for the community to actually be able to voice their opinion, actually be heard, and have the company take action, because at the end of the day, they don't really have to listen to the player base. But you know what?
Very true.
They're starting to open up and be more attentive and aware of what the community wants, what they're looking for. And they're doing the best to try and please as many people as they can. They can't please everybody. That's something we all understand completely, because Antonio's likes is different than Anthony's likes, which is different than Abdul's likes. And that's fine. But we all have a love for HeroClix and a love for comics. So it's one of the reasons why we play this game. But that's my 2 cents on that.
How about you, Tone? What you think?
So, yeah, I mean, as far as the pieces being overcosted, whether if they have Undomitable, no, I think all the figures are. I mean, most figures that you look at are playable in some way. In the game. I mean, I don't agree with people that say that that figure's unplayable, because I think you can find a way to play that figure. Whatever figure you're looking at, I think you can find a way to play it. It doesn't have to be meta to be playable. You could play it in casual play. You can play it. You can play it in whatever way you want. And also, some figures that appear to be just casual fun figures end up being more competitive and more meta later on, because of different mechanics that get introduced into the game, and different figures that get introduced into the game. So a lot of times you have sleepers that they come up and you're like, oh, now this figure's really good. Something that came out a couple years ago or whatever. So I think basically my point is that I think every figure has its own intrinsic value. I don't think that there are crap figures out there. Like, I don't think so. Well, there are. I mean, but there are. But
Yeah.
Before pushing damage, I would agree with you. Now, yeah.
But also, yeah, and that's the thing. So before pushing damage, there were more of those figures that you just didn't look at, and so now without pushing damage, you have to look at every figure, and I think it makes figures more valuable. I don't think that makes them overcosted, because they were valuable to begin with. They were good pieces to begin with. I mean, I think if anything, the pieces that didn't have Indomitable or didn't have willpower may have been overcosted before.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. And now
Mm-hmm.
they're not.
Dial design throughout the last couple of years, especially, has been absolutely amazing. You're 4 or 5 years ago, if you wanted to play the Trinity, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, chances are that's all you're going to be able to field on that particular team. And one of the pieces that really cost a tremendous amount, because of all the things that he can do, was Superman. Superman's average cost was anywhere between 125 to 170 points if you wanted to play a good Superman that's going to be able to pull the rest of the weight for the other 2 figures. Not saying that Wonder Woman or Batman are slouches, but it was just you're playing, if you want to play the Trinity, that's all you're playing on the team. That's it. Nowadays, in the current meta, you can play all those figures and still have room for additional support on top of that, and that's great. That speaks to WizKids understanding that they want to see those big name figures out there, and winning tournaments, and players having fun with them again. They want to see Thor teaming up with Captain America and Iron Man and doing some crazy stunts, whatever the case may be. Yeah, man. It's the point costs have actually dropped because they want to see players having fun
And we
and
see players
building tremendous teams, you know?
By the way, Antonio, are there any Superman figures that have hypersonic and close combat expert?
I
Does
thought so. I thought there was
not
one,
off,
no?
off the
does the
top off the
starter
top
does
of off the
starter
top
does
of
starter
my head.
Superman have
None
it? I
that
don't know.
started. Well,
Starter
I don't want
Superman
to
on his
talk about starter
125 point.
Superman. God damn, having a good time. I don't want to talk about starter Superman.
Does he have close combat expert?
I think he has hypersonic and close. I want to look this up because
Because
I
if he
think he
does,
has.
he just became that much better.
I think he doesn't. I think he has.
Let's take a look.
Yeah, like. Hold on. I think. No, he's
no,
so
that's on
hypersonic
his
4
second
damage.
click. That's on his second click.
He's
okay.
on his second click, which you can't push to.
Yeah, you can't push it.
There you go.
Which you can't push. So here's I asked you guys this question is because again, talking about it online, and I'll let you move on to the next topics that you have, Tony. Cause I do want to talk about Future Foundation, but when I think of this character, Wolverine, 75 points top dial, 50 points, which is what everyone's going to play him at, because he has his stop click at 50 points, right? Which is crazy that a 50-point figure has a stop click and is a common, right? Great figure. He has Indom. If you tell me now that this figure is overcosted because he has Indom, I'm laughing in your face. So how much should he cost? How much, if you were to strip the Indom away from him, now, how much are you costing this figure? So now you're going to tell me now this, his 50-point down now costs 40 points for what it can do? Huh? You know, so what? So I think that what my retort to that online was, characters that usually had Indom already had better dials usually than the characters who didn't have Indom, right? They were the people that you wanted to keep going, so they had better dials in general. So of course, you know, the dial in essence was a little bit better, and that's why I had Indom on it. But that doesn't mean that now that everyone can push, that all of a sudden now, well, Trinary has willpower. She doesn't take pushing damage anymore, so now she's cream of the crop. No. She's still not as good as Wolverine. And Wolverine's only 20 points more than her. She's still not as good as him. So the cream is still going to rise to the top, even though the game has been balanced out as far as who can keep going and who can go. And when we talk about the Justice League, yeah, the Trinity is going to keep going. I still need Booster Gold to keep fighting with me. I still need, you know, Huntress and Black Canary to keep fighting with me. And if we're being absolutely comic accurate or cartoon accurate, they do keep fighting, you know? So I just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts because that is something that I had talked about multiple times. Yep. About, you know, characters being overcosted. And again, in a year's time, the dials will have changed. Point values will have changed. We've already seen it in Wonder Woman. That Mary Shazam is only 75 points. That was easily, you know, again, a year ago, 100-point easily figure for full dial charge, and then Quake, even without the super strength, still being able to do 9 damage on your own. It's pretty, and having Indom not pushing that's crazy good, you know. But anyways, go right ahead with any of the other points you had, Tony, that you were asking us about.
Let's take a look at Future Foundation, and let's take a look at so we're looking at Core here and Turg. You guys mentioned this as being a really game-changing figure or a really impressive figure. What other impressive figures have you seen from Future Foundation based on the previews? I mean, the ones that come to mind for me, and you guys can add some if there's any that I missed.
Sure.
So the sidekicks being, you know, one, because all the sidekicks look really good. Molecule Man, Doom, the Chase Doom was an interesting one with the action total thing that he does.
He won't see play though. He won't see play because for 10 more points you can get Old Man Phoenix. And while you might not be able to attain an Old Man Phoenix, for 10 more points you can get Old Man Phoenix. Now I love that Doom. I really do, and I hope I pull him. But for 10 more points you get Old Man Phoenix, who can take tokens off of himself. and he heals every turn, and he has the X-Men on a theme team to back him up. So that changes a lot of stuff. But I do love him, though. I do love that Doom.
Uatu, but I think we talked a lot about Uatu already.
Yeah,
I'll
he's
show his,
good.
Sure.
I could show his dial. High Evolutionary looked really good. And
Yeah.
the Isotope E that he has equipment. Silver Savage and the surfboard and the surfboard equipment. I thought Ultimate Nullifier was interesting. Maybe we could talk about that.
What do you guys think of the Ultimate Nullifier?
It is an interesting, it's an interesting equipment, and folks are looking for, if you're looking for an equipment to be able to damage one of your own figures to maybe get to a further click, here you go, Ultimate Nullifier. Right? This is going to be, yes,
Options.
absolutely. So it seems like for everything that's taken away, something's given back in a usable item that we can have. The Isotope E, very interesting. I can see that on a majority of the teams that are going to be played in the upcoming seasons.
You think so? I think Vulture is its main proponent right now. But I mean, we will see a lot of characters that, like, again, Dr. Doom has a lot of names now. Being able to switch out dials is going to be great.
Sure.
The Fantastic Four, but again, you got to play that. I mean, I'd like that High Evolutionary. I don't know if anyone's necessarily going to play the Isotope, unless they're playing like a Vulture team. But yeah, that's pretty good.
I think Vulture teams with the change to Perplex are just honestly, they're going to go away. For someone to actually, for someone to actually put together a team that strategically is in the right spot, between an opponent's team, so that Vulture can go through and flurry and keep flurrying through. That's going to be difficult and a big commitment on someone. Will someone try that team? Sure, but
I think that's good too. I think the Vulture team was pretty much like bad for the game. Having the concept of a Vulture team where you can just go and kind of wipe out your opponent's team. Like,
what I find interesting is that when Vulture teams were or are in the meta, folks really got turned off by it. Now I just wondered why. If whenever I go out and I go to a tournament, I think most of us that have been playing for a while, there's two different types of builds that we do. If I'm going to my local game store and I know we're playing, 300-point modern game with a bunch of my friends, I'm not bringing my Vulture team. I'm not bringing my super competitive team. I'm going to bring a team that's going to be fun, a team that I believe is competitive. So, I think there it'll. I won't see it even in competitive play. You saw it there for a while, but with the change to Perplex, I think this guy's going away.
And that's another way to bring good players in. That's another way to bring new players in, is by having your venue have a sit down and tell them, hey, I need you to not bring Vulture teams to our game nights every week. And, and then their retort being like, well, they just need to get good. Well, okay. But they can't get good when you kill them on turn 3.
Yeah, that does turn away a lot of players.
I didn't know what I was doing when I first started, and I used to go to Highlander with you guys,
and Abdul played a Vulture type team on you and killed you.
Actually, I would do all this research. I would do all this research, and I would bring the Vulture teams. I would bring like these super meta teams to like casual Wednesdays, but I didn't know the etiquette, as far as like what you were supposed to play on a Wednesday compared to a Saturday, right? And so I was like, I'm just gonna bring my best stuff because these are like the best players, like that these are like veteran players. So I'm just gonna bring my best stuff and see what happens. But then I kind of got the point that you're not supposed to really play that kind of stuff.
Aggressive.
Tony's like, I'm playing all the damn giant girls. 15 giant girls. That's half my team.
Oh
So yeah,
man.
so we have a lot of equipment here. We have Ultimate Nullifier.
Yeah.
That one's. I mean, I don't know.
Puppet Master is gonna be good. Puppet Master is gonna be good
So
Yep.
because he's
what
cheap.
which equipment does he have, Puppet Master?
He has the radioactive clay. Now, the radioactive clay, I don't think is going to go good on anyone else except for him because after you use it once, whether you hit or don't, you destroy it. So that's 5 points to my opponent, which I wouldn't necessarily want to give, but I'm going to play Puppet Master all day, every day. He has two types of evasion, and he has a 12 attack his whole dial with mind control. And
That's nice.
a 10 range that ignores literally everything in the game is exactly what you want. With a 12 attack and I think precision strike, so at the beginning of the game, you can't even evade it. Like, I mean, come on. Like look at this. Come on, man. And he's a wild card too. So I can just put him on a scroll team and just say, come get it. So now my shape change is 4 through 6. And I got shape change, or I can just put them on we know we might end up getting a Wonder Woman who is a scientist because she is actually very smart. If they want to, give us a Diana Prince that like has scientist keyword or something like that, they realistically could get it. Batman's not the only smart person in the Trinity, but with that being the case, or like Donna Troy could have scientist keyword if they want to go that route. Anyway, so Puppet Master for 40 points is not a huge investment. Gives you a whole bunch. And if you really want to get crazy about it, I mean, you can give him something like, I don't know, the incendiary ring. So now he does penetrating energy explosion or something like that. If you didn't want to, I mean, never mind. You can't equip them with two different things. But I think for 40, I'm getting too ahead of myself, right? but for 40 points, he's just amazing. 12 attacks his whole dial. Come on, man. That's sick. And late dial, not only can I sidestep and potentially incap you, or just mind control somebody, but now I got outwit and now I got token removal. Get out of here. He's amazing.
The fact that he has the scientist keyword just makes him all the more better. Scientists, you got a lot of love in this set, and they're able to combo with other great scientists that are already out there. So now that scientist theme team can become a scientist Spider-Man theme team, which gives you the ability to wild card shield if you happen to have a shield character on there. Now his 10 range is a 13 range. Now I'm seeing through everything 13 range.
Mind control.
Right, exactly. Mind control.
I love it.
It's amazing. It makes these characters, these figures, that years ago, would you really have a Puppet Master on your team? No, of course not. His stats weren't good. The abilities weren't that good either. So he was just, unfortunately, it just seemed like he was maybe a filler character in a set. Nice to collect, if you're a collector. As a player, now you have the ability to go ahead and just throw him on any team you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be Latveria or Scientist. It can be any team you want. He's ignoring, as Tony said.
If you play him on Latveria, you got Doom. You got Doom on
goodness.
Latveria. You got Doom.
Look at all the possibilities of all these different, new teams, because now the points on each figure is lower. You're able to play Puppet Master and Doom on Latveria.
Latveria is a legitimate keyword. It's really...
Of course it is. Of course it is. Puppet Master is gonna outwit you. He's gonna mind control you from behind all this blocking, so you can come around here. So God Doom can just shoot your face off. Thanks.
Yeah.
now, Ja, go first punch your other person.
But wait,
in
Tony, I thought strategy was out of the game. What do you, they're dumbing down the game.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. They said that.
Look,
I know.
He said me, Tony. He said me. Like there's no strategy left in the game. Let me tell you, man. Guess what? This set is so fun.
Yeah.
Go to Diablo. Diablo is something I want to talk about. Diablo realistically. Diablo is meta off the break. Diablo is going to be both Diablos because of what their objects do. Now, if you ask me, Prime Diablo is easily going to be a $50 piece because of the object that he comes with. The the alchemic fire allows you to choose between penetrating damage, deal 1 damage to an adjacent person that you hit, give the fire token to a character, which is great, which burns, which I think is phenomenal, or -2 attack. Being able to tell someone that, again, now here we go. Now I'm gonna put the alchemic fire, and let's get real thematic with it. I'm gonna add fire to Old Man Phoenix, and now Old Man Phoenix is doing charge, flurry, blades, and it's all penetrating. Huh? It's all penetrating. The whole die. It's all penetrating damage. Now again, anyone that attack you put alchemic fire on any person that you really want to really hurt or like really does a lot of good damage. Now you put this on Prime, what's his name? Emperor Vulcan. Now Emperor Vulcan can potentially move it to that when he pulse waves, he deals damage to the people that weren't in the pulse wave. You know what I'm saying? Or I pulse wave you, and then I pulse wave, and guess what? Now you modify your attack by -2.
Right, and you're taking the additional damage.
Hey, are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? Like that? Just seeing that, just off of what this one dude pulled from the case. Shout out to HeroClix Italia. Good job getting a whole case. But pulling this figure, I'm mad that he is the Prime because this is the regular version of Diablo, but his alchemic fire is ridiculous. And then when you go up to the regular Diablo, now you can give Pulse Wave to any character you want. What? Now I can give Close Combat Expert to any character I want. I can give Exploit Weakness to any character, Regeneration, Flurry to any character I want. That in itself is insanity. I mean, come on. Being able to just choose which power you want from the break and then not having to roll for it is absolutely amazing. The characters themselves that come with it are great. I think the Diablo, just looking at his dial right here, Diablo has Mysticals. Mysticals is still a good thing because you have Wendigos. Scientists, like we already said, is a great one. Fantastic Four is amazing because now I can just play, I don't know, if I don't want to play a Prime, I can play Black Leopard because Black Leopard is still a thing in HeroClix that people aren't even really, I mean, people play Black Leopard, but they're not talking about him enough, but his time's going to really come. Anyway, being able to give any of these powers that are listed here to anyone that you want, any character that you want is ridiculous. And now that with the TK change to making it, to close up this horrible loophole that it was, which is like, oh, I'm just going to TK your object. And now I'm saying I'm range attacking and it just goes away. Which, how were you range attacking the wall? No, that doesn't work that way. But anyway, now I don't even have to worry about you necessarily coming and sniping my object away. I can give any of those powers to anyone that I want.
So how does this work? How does this work again? So you
equip it, and then you choose on the card, the way it's showed on the card, on the actual little dial, right? On the actual dial, it'll be like a little dial, right? And it'll have an arrow that points to whatever power you want, right? So you point the power to whatever you want, which is amazing. You know why? Because now I don't have to keep track of, oh, well, I thought I chose this power. I thought I chose that power. We all know what pick a power is like. So now I don't even got to worry about pick a power. And now what happens is you roll the D6 and you turn it clockwise. Everybody knows what clockwise is. And you turn it and then equal to the result. So again, there's strategy in the game. Well, I started with poison and I might want to start with a power or two powers that I want where I can roll them. And then all of a sudden I can stop in between this, or I might be able to go here or might be able to go there. The same thing is for the Prime Diablo. You start wherever you want, but it's only 4 options this time. And then what happens is you roll the D6 and you move it half of whatever the D6 is, either left or right, which again, it's just insane, man. These two pieces, mark my words, these two pieces, not that you guys didn't already know it, but anybody watching, mark my words, if you have the opportunity to get Prime Diablo, especially Prime Diablo, since Rare Diablo is just a plain rare, if you can get Prime Diablo, I'm buying him probably day one. He's probably going to be a piece I got to buy day one, because the Alchemaic Fire I think is going to be the object. It's going to be the soul gem. It's going to be the exo specs that we're going to see for all the way until this set is no longer legal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Alchemic, the regular Diablo, it looks like almost like an exospecs kind of equipment, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a pick of power equipment. Okay. Yeah. Both of those look really good.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any other figures that you guys were thinking about that struck you? I mean, let's look at this Doom chase. This is one of the chase. This is the only chase that's been previewed. This trait here, life is conflict. Opposing forces can't take costed actions. More costed actions more than 1 per 100 points of the build total. I mean, is this too close to 1776 in terms of power, or do you think it's more balanced? Do you like this figure, or would you play this figure? Or
yeah, I
what do you
think
think, Abdul?
that trait is very similar to what 1776 did before the errata.
Yeah.
Little kind of scratch my head at why they would bring out another figure that can do similar effects. Would I play this figure at 150 points? Not really. Now, it's a heavy investment for a close combat team. I'm not generally a one-sided builder. I like to have both range and close combat mixed in there, so that, you know, at the very least, if I'm on an unfavorable map, the other half of my team or part of my team can still do something while the other section, you know, the other portion supports them, and vice versa. You know, with regard to this, it's a heavy investment for 150 points. Is he protected outwit? I don't think so. So that's something else to keep in mind. If he's not protected outwit, can he gain life back very quickly?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing is like, I mean, I would if I was gonna play him, I'd only play him at 75.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree with you. The trait here, though, the many faces of doom. So at the beginning of the game, you may choose a starting line of equal points on a character from your sideline that also has this trait. If you do replace this character with this chosen character. So I'm guessing all of the Doom chases are gonna have. I mean, the chases in this set are all like alternate reality Dooms, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm guessing that you're gonna have like the many faces of Doom. You can have them on your sideline and like switch them out for each other at the beginning of the game. So like, I mean, like if I know I'm going up against like a Justice League team that has like 7-8 actions on turn,
a million actions, 14 actions.
I'm gonna use. I might sub this piece in because now they only get 3. You know, so it's actually different. It works different from the way 1776 worked. You know what I mean in that respect.
How so?
It's better than 17. It's better than 1776 because there's no way, even if you just have regular leadership on the field, that you can, even your leadership doesn't 3 actions, regardless of how many leaderships you have. You cannot do that one.
Yeah.
And which I think is great because you can't go high 300 points in a game. I would actually I wouldn't play him necessarily at 150, but if I did play him at 150, he automatically is going to be on a Spider-Man family team with Penny, probably one of my favorite chases, simply because this is the first time she's ever been made. she would give this Doom a 20 defense to let this dude out there and go and do his thing. Most characters in the game aren't protected by outwit, so I can, and then that's where the strategy comes in, is maneuvering him around so he doesn't necessarily get outwitted to crap. But he has plenty of flaws, which I think you should have. But him having flurry as a trait, and then him just basing it and potentially hitting you 3 times, especially modifying your defense down, and then healing thanks to Minions of Doom, along with objects, this guy gets absolutely insane. You give him Nightbringer Ring. Now he can creep up 9 times out of 10. You give him the Carnage Symbiote. Carnage Symbiote might be a good thing because Carnage Symbiote makes him even nastier than what he already is, as far as when he does kill something, which he probably should. Not only does he heal from Minions of Doom, but he also heals from Carnage Symbiote, and he has the plasticity to help with the charge, and he has Shape Change to help with evasion, since he doesn't, that's taken up by Battle Fury, which gets around Shape Change again, which is a huge thing in the game. So is he like super duper amazing? No. Are there better robots out there? Yes. Are there better everything for his keywords? Yes. If, like you guys said, if I'm playing him, he's only probably, if I field him, it's probably only going to be at 75 points with probably a Doom team. Me just looking at it, I would build a Doom team around him and just say, realistically, you could have him, the uncommon Doom from Fantastic Forces with the 2 Doom bots out there, and then Emperor Doom at 100 with the Doom's Castle on. That gives the Latveria ones that gives you the little Latverian peasants pogs for 0 points, or Doom's Castle for 0 points. Now my leadership does even more, and we don't know what the change to leadership is going to be. So now I'm snatching tokens off of people, and now my Doombots don't push, and yeah, so he's great.
Another figure that I really liked was a rare. It was Molecule Man.
Oh,
let's take a look.
Molecule Man. He has a trait, molecular manipulation. Smoke Cloud as free. Free. Roll a d6 and choose a number of non-debris terrain markers within range up to the result. Replace those markers with any combination of hindering, water, or blocking terrain markers. At the beginning of your next turn, remove all markers placed this way. And then also at his 30-point starting line, he has Barrier and Incap, Stealth, and Outwit. So he can Barrier, and then he could potentially Barrier for free with make 6 blocking squares for free. Depending on what he rolls. So, like, that's really powerful. I like him as like a disruption piece, kind of a.
Oh, absolutely.
Are you playing him at 100 or at 30?
30. I play him at 30. I think.
Absolutely. 100 points. He's decent in my opinion. I can definitely see him seeing play. 1, because he does have a 30-point click. 2, he's got 8 range, which nowadays is actually great.
Really good
for for range characters. Incapacitate is always good there. The fact that he has Smoke's Cloud is free, and you can roll d6, and at the very least one of those is going to be blocking terrain. So that's definitely going to help you out. Like you said, Tony, he has Barrier on his dial, so you can power Barrier and then free action additional square of Barrier, if not more squares of Barrier, to help walling your team so that they don't get pounced on by an overpowered figure. I could definitely see him being played, and especially with his keywords too: Cosmic, Scientist, Latveria, and Battle World Other. We haven't really seen that in a while, but Battle World Other every now and then you sneak in a really good piece for that, for that keyword.
What are you guys' thoughts on the title character from this set? Susan, Queen of Atlantis.
Oh boy. Yeah, not impressed.
What do you? Yeah, look at these values, man. Look at these values. No. I would really like a title character to. I feel like when you bestow a quote unquote title on someone, they
Mm-hmm.
should be they should live up to what they are. If you are a unique character or a title character or a prime character, any character that makes it so that you can only have one of these pieces, even though I play Highlander all the time anyway, but if I can only have one of you on my whole force, you better be tight. She's not good on an Atlantis team, wholeheartedly. She's really not good on a Fantastic Four team. There's way better Susan Storms. She's not good on a ruler team, potentially. And maybe they change Dolphin to make Dolphin like great. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they change it up and this is the time.
Mm-hmm.
But in all honesty, I do not see anyone clamoring for this piece. If I pull her, okay. But even her thing when she dies, when she's KO'd, opposing characters gain Dolphin for the rest of the game. Okay. So, I mean, unless you're playing all flyers, okay. Most maps don't even have water. And even though she makes water, it's just like,
Yeah.
I'm sad that they did this with a super rare. And that's yeah.
Super. The title characters in general. I love the concept of title characters. They're able to do certain things a lot of other characters can't, and they have certain point combinations that that I don't know. I haven't really seen a title character that's made me go, wow, I absolutely have to build a team with this character. This character is great. I mean, there have been good title characters. Earth X Cap title character. He was initially from the get go. It looked like he could have great potential to win a few tournaments here and there. And do great competitive play. It's just after testing him over and over and over again, and trying different combinations, it just seemed like there were better options out at the time. For example, I think Medusa was a better option than Title Cap. Less points, and
she just was.
Oh yeah, she allowed you to field additional pieces on your team as opposed to just having Title Cap on there. Another good title character that potentially could have been great, but unfortunately didn't actually get there was Batgirl, right? What is she, like 70 points or something? She's got all this great mobility, but then
70 points, and she rocks. Oh my gosh, man.
She's great. Yeah, if you throw the Bane equipment on her, she's even better, up close with all the +1 stats. But the moment she gets killed, your opponent gets a great benefit, from her getting KO'd. Mm-hmm. So it's just it seems like their title characters are good. They're just not as good as you would hope them to be.
Well, there's Mother from House of X. She's pretty good.
Yeah. Do I see her winning, controlling an entire tournament? Personally, no. It's just it may be my play style, maybe what I like to build around, but
Mother is interesting. I feel like if you're gonna make a title character and you're gonna do her like that, Mother's a good step in the right direction. Sure. They immediately I think Susan is a step in the complete wrong direction. For title characters, and her sculpt is pretty okay, but I think I don't know.
Could be done better.
I just feel like at this point in 2021, why are they still making high rarity figs that you can easily pass up? And Mother's not a figure where I'm looking at her values and being like, oh my gosh, she's so game breaking. But what she does for her team, only the X-Men, what she does only for the X-Men is game breaking. So you give up the points potentially. Have to potentially get a Paul that really mess you up. Have to do all these different things to make her really tight. And that's a risk and reward type of thing.
Sure.
There's no kind of reward that I see when I look at this dial when I read these powers. So unlike Earth X Cap, I seen a match with Earth X Cap, and he went across the map with the Chase Cap, the Sam Cap, and then just made Sam Cap do some absolute absurdity stuff by giving the free move, and when she moves, she can do some other stuff. It was just insane, the strategy that was in there. And like you said, Medusa is just a little bit better, but I don't know. I'm not digging her at all. And it's unfortunate because I really want a badass, like I can fight Sue, because Sue is actually the strongest character in the Fantastic Four powers wise, and they haven't given us a down that is the most powerful one of the four yet. We just haven't gotten that down yet. That's what I would like to see now at this point. Yeah.
So another
what
question.
else is in there that we saw?
So yeah, another question I had was so the next thing on my list was, and this is pretty much one of the last things as far as future foundation is the legacy card. What do you like legacy cards? Do you like the ones that they've come out with? And also, what would be your choice for a legacy card if you were coming out with your own, if you were printing your own legacy card?
Well, I'll tell you what, legacy cards, it's a great idea. I like what they're doing with it in terms of, hey, you've got these old figures. We've heard some folks say, they wish they could play that old figure. They want to see how it operates in modern. Now you can. One of the ones that we saw Scott Porter preview was Ben Grimm thing. The original printing of that particular figure, I believe, was Galactic Guardians. It was good in Galactic Guardians, but now with the legacy card, with the change to his special damage power, where he could essentially keep attacking every turn as long as he hit. That's great. That adds an element to the game of, okay, I'm investing 140 points for this character, but the reward here is I'm getting the ability to attack over and over again. And with the change to Perplex, now I don't really have to second guess myself anymore in terms of, am I going to perplex his attack or his damage? Well, I can't do damage, so I'm just going to perplex his attack up. If I was a player and I was building a team around him, definitely a bunch of perplexers, a few probbers here and there, but a 12 or 13 attack, against the average defense out there now, more likely than not, you're going to hit that figure. And then you get the option to either deal one, I believe, unavoidable, after that resolves, or attack again. So if I see it where, okay, I hit my opponent, he is invincible. Now he's got invulnerable. Okay, oops, I hit him, and now they have super senses. Or combat reflexes, and I don't feel that I'm going to be able to hit that 21 defense with reflexes. I'll just deal that figure that one unavoidable damage. That's, to me, that it's a step in the right direction. What other figures would I like to see with that from the past? I don't know. There's a whole slew of figures that could probably use to balance the game a little bit out now with all these crazy abilities. I think of super rare Nick Fury from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
We don't need that. We don't need Balls of Fury no more. Come on, man. We don't need that.
Uatu might take offense to seeing his eyes in his hand or something.
Come on, we don't need that. We don't need that.
On a personal note, I would personally like to see a legacy card for a version of Sentry here or there. Personally, I would like to see a really good Sentry click come out in one of the latest Avengers sets.
Just in general.
Just in general, we've had decent iterations of the character, but nothing's it's actually been able to touch upon the character itself, you know. So that would be one character I would like to see.
Me, I'd like to see. Um, Avengers Infinity Groot, because I just want that leadership for cosmic keyword.
Give me my walking woods back.
I mean, I would even change it by nerfing it a little bit, so that like I would like, because they can change it in the legacy card. I would maybe make it so that the +1 attack and +1 defense was only for the Guardians of the Galaxy keyword or theme, and that it didn't get that if it was on another, if it was not played on Guardians of the Galaxy. So then it would be like one less attack and one less defense. But I would still play it because it's definitely playable. It's a really good figure. So that's what I would do.
Absolutely. Why would you make the change to that group? Out of curiosity.
Because I think he's really good. I mean, I think like when he was played then, he was really OP. I thought you saw him on almost every he was on almost every meta team. Every cosmic team had him, and he was really good. And having that 11 attack, being able to retaliate, and also be a 20-point leadership figure for your for your cosmic team. I think being 20 points and having leadership, and also generating pogs, like up to 5 pogs, I think that are really good. By the way, I think that's just amazing by itself. I don't think that Groot also needs to have an 11 attack.
Interesting.
I think if Groot was legal today, he's automatically on every Spider Pharaoh team. He's part of the Spidey family immediately.
Oh, ruler.
Immediately.
Yeah.
He's automatically on that. And then now he's probably going to colossal retaliate you for 4 damage. His walking wood is then going to flurry you for like 4 damage. Yeah, because it did 3. Thanks to Spider Pharaoh. He was great. That group was amazing. My thing about Legacy is I don't like it I like the idea of it. I do not like it if they're going to continue to make it exactly how it is right now. This first showing doesn't show me something that makes me want to go out and play these figures again. Like you talked about the Thing. The Thing is 140 points. Even with the change to they gave him close combat expert, or I think they gave him sidestep and close combat expert.
Yeah.
The fact that he has close combat expert now means he'll have an 11 when he comes up and charges to you. That's fantastic. He's still 140 points. We just got a Thing. The rare Thing costs 75 points. SR Thing that gives a 19 defense costs 50 points.
Sure.
I can play both of them together, and I'm still less points than them. I can still actually put some sidekicks on my team. And have like a full Fantastic Four set that's going to have a 19 defense.
Sure.
Did the update make him better? It did. But his dial, the price of it back in the day, like you said, Abdul, he was great. That Thing was great for his time. In today's game, 140 points for somebody that can be psychic blasted. Psychic blast is given out like candy, which is why they put it back some. Or the psychic blast wasn't one of the powers they benched, right?
No,
I don't think they did.
No,
okay.
Psychic Blast is going to be around for a while.
Is given out like candy. So even low tier characters have Psychic Blast. So now you mean to tell me I have Psychic Blast through your defense, which again now, I mean, you can bump that up, okay. But 140 points, while he's good, it's not good enough. Then you turn to someone like Morg. Morg is 165 points with a 10 attack. And yes, he gets +2 when he attacks someone with double tokens. You can easily maneuver around that. And yeah, you want to get him to the opposing character's starting area. The way games are played now, people actually stay closer to their starting area. And I think that happened with Xavier's School Xavier's School and Colossal Retaliation made it so people don't even go out as far as they used to anymore on the map. You might have a long range character do something, and you kind of play defense, and you wait for your retaliant to possibly do something. I like the aspect of the game of legacy characters, but they have to either change up they have to change the point values for me. He's the same. Morgan is not worth 165 points in today's game. He is not. Not with a hypersonic, even though he has hypersonic 4 damage, 10 attack is just not getting it for someone who is more than half of your team. Especially since, even though, yeah, you can have some great characters on there. Again, one good Psychic Blast, and his defense is only at 18. One Psychic Blast, you are almost done. And if you are more than half of my team, you shouldn't be able to.
Oh yeah, his attack drops, his abilities drop.
It's just not good enough, and that's why they gave him the steel energy and all this other stuff. And when he gets to the opponent's starting areas, which is great, but he needs more. Even again with the Invisible Woman, it's not enough. Rare Invisible Woman gives me everything that I want for an Invisible Woman by giving the team stealth and giving the team prob and giving the team shield team ability. So now Johnny shoots further. I still have Fantastic Four. Now everyone has stealth, and so when I look at that character and I look at that Sue, who has an amazing sculpt, it's not enough. The 110 points that she brings, that I've got to pay for her, ESD is great, but look where we just started shifting. We're shifting a lot of pieces to close combat now. That's where we're trying to shift the game. She just doesn't do enough. And again, her special power is on her second click, which is what you want her on. And now she can't push to it. Can you get her there? Of course you can. So I think that if we're going to go to legacy figures, they have to change. I'm saying take like 30 to 50% off the price.
Yeah,
if you show me that Susan Storm, yeah, go.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I think that if you're making a legacy card, and the purpose of the legacy card is to make a figure that is older, modern legal, I think people don't care about modern legal unless they are playing competitively and trying to win a tournament or something. Otherwise, if I'm playing at home, I don't really care if something's modern legal. So, like, I think you need to make the figures worth it for the point cost. I think you need to make them really good figures, or pick really good figures. Not that they weren't good in their day. I'm sure they were, but like I think that they need to measure.
She wasn't good in her day, as a matter of fact. Come on, Abdul. She came on the Captain America set. She wasn't good for her day because you had to push her to get her to use her powers. And as soon as you pushed her, guess what? I'm coming up and I'm smacking the hell out of you.
Not that I don't love the idea, though. I do love the idea of the legacy cards. I got really excited.
The idea is great. The idea is really good.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure WizKids is going to tweak it.
If I was going to make...
Say it again?
If I was to make a legacy character, I would actually, based on the way that I want legacy to drop their prices, I would probably make... it's a tie between two figures. Since they changed TK, I can't say GSX Magneto because I would love to see that piece back in the game. But he costs like way too many points now. He's over 100. He's over 160 points. Way too much. It would be a tie between Superior Foes Spider-Man SR Ares, which I loved. I love that piece. But he's very, very pricey. He's 200 points, which is not flying for what he does. A close combat piece, he doesn't do enough. And just because I love Into the Spider-Verse, I would love for them to make legacy cards for the Spider-Man chases, since the Spideyverse is back into a thing, and make Spider Noir, which was a beautiful sculpt. Spider Noir was a beautiful sculpt. Actually, one of the best sculpts I think they've made in HeroClix in general. His dial is okay, but in today's game, his dial would probably be like 50, 60 points. And it's 75 points now. And guess what? Now he don't got to worry about pushing damage anymore. Sign me up. But you got to bring point values down. You have to. You just have to bring point values down to match what is in today's game. Like Tony said, if you're going to make it modern legal, people are only playing stuff. You only care about modern legal. They're only going to chase for if it's worth fielding. No one wants to put a legacy character that's starting out there with these low attack values that you got to plug. It's not Vulture, where you plug stuff into Vulture because you know his return is going to be good. These figures that they have right now, as it stands right now, just these first couple are not good on the return at all, and not worth the chase, and not worth buying more product to accumulate. And that's what WizKids wants at the end of the day. They want you to buy bricks and bricks and bricks so you can get these legacy cards, which are cool. But why get a legacy card for a character I'm just not going to play? No one's reaching for more. No one is going to reach for him. You know, there's not. No one's fielding him.
Yeah, and it makes me also
So,
like
yeah.
I like the character Morg because he's a herald, and I wish that they had a better version of Morg in the set. You know.
Sure.
But I mean,
he should be stronger.
I love where they're going.
Should be stronger than almost. Yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I think it's good. I would much rather them just do a greatest hits. If WizKids started a greatest hits line where they just re-release some of their greatest pieces that have the greatest, and just do them in a Fast Forces piece, like Fast Forces set, or you know, like, or Gravity Feed set or whatever. That's money, man. You're printing money. All you got to do is change the dial. You already have access to the sculpts. We've seen they're using the Havoc sculpt from Wolverine and the X-Men. It came out ages ago. And they're still using Havoc and Polaris. You have access to all the sculpts. Just print them again. Print them again. People are automatically going to buy them. You ain't even got to put them in a set. You can just release them on their own. Who is not going to buy a World's Finest starter with all the World's Finest chases that were in a pack? Who's not going to buy that? That's money. You make the dials good. The dials costed for what they are in today's game, even though those dials were cheap for what they did for the most part. You make those dials good. People access to sculpts that in versions of characters that they love. Is printing money. You don't have to do anything kooky like say, oh, I got a legacy and you got to do this. Literally just print the things. It's been retired for like I would say give it a 2-year retirement. After 2 years of a dial being retired, so people don't feel like they're being cheated when they pay like high prices to chase down a figure or something. Re-release the damn thing. Re-release it and print money. You print money. I think that's a better way to do it than legacy cards. But if they're going to do it for legacy cards, they also have to put out way more legacy cards than they are and make it more accessible to people. I would much rather see it be team up cards than just like you buy a brick and you just get. That's enough. It's not a good difference on the value, you know.
Okay, so I think we're done talking about Future Foundation, and you know, just to wrap up the show,
Indeed.
just what do you guys think about? Have you guys been watching WandaVision? What do you?
Yeah. Yeah.
All of us are laughing. For anyone who's watching, because in our group chat that we have with Team Pusheen, we've just gone back and forth about WandaVision and the likes and the hates and all this other stuff. So
Yeah.
that's how we automatically all started laughing as soon as you say WandaVision. Y'all go ahead. Tell me what you think first. Go, y'all, either one of y'all can go first.
I mean, I like it. I don't want to spoil for anybody that hasn't watched it, but you know, I think there are a lot of Easter eggs. There's a lot of stuff to figure out, and they're cluing us into a lot of the stuff that's going to happen in the MCU. So that's cool. I mean, the first 2 episodes did kind of go slow a little bit, and it was like, that's what I felt like. But then it really picked up after the 3rd episode, and not because you know the first 2 episodes are black and white or anything, but you know that's
Yeah.
but it has nothing to do with that. But I did feel like the first 2 episodes were kind of a little bit slower.
Mhm.
And then it did pick up on the 3rd episode. The 4th episode just aired last Friday. I mean, the show airs every Friday, so you have to wait every Friday to get a new episode. I mean, it's cool because like you're making, I'm constantly making predictions about stuff, and I'm like
Hmm.
looking it up on my phone, the different comic book references and stuff that I don't know. I'm also I'm a big fan of the Tom King series Vision that came out in 2012. I want to say
Mm-hmm.
2000. It was that was a
Mm-hmm.
great series. It was a great series, 12 issue series. I think it was kind of an
It
homage.
was.
It was kind of an homage to the um, Vision and the Scarlet Witch 12 issue series that came out in like 1985.
Hmm.
Um, but
Yep,
the
like the 80s. Yep.
yeah, the 80s one. So, but the one from 2012 with Tom King, it was a great series. It was really good. I really liked. That's one of my favorite comics. I have the hardcover signed by Tom King.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very cool. It's
I
awesome,
love
dude.
it. So that I
Nice.
was really excited for this series when it came out.
Oh
Abdul,
yeah.
what do you think?
No, I was even, and I'm a little different with regard to the series itself. Like, I've fully enjoyed and appreciated all of the episodes that have come out so far. That the first two episodes, it basically is, setting up what's going on, and as you start to, catch the Easter eggs as you're watching the shows, and you start to remember the comics that you read back, and the references that it makes, everything's starting to click together. And the latest episode, episode 4, just confirms, a lot of the theories that are out there that, backs up what we thought was going on, and what's coming in the future. And it's really great in the aspect of, okay, I see how the Disney Plus series is tying into later projects for Marvel, such as, Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness or something. Now, I have a project. We all have our own theories of how the series is going to end and how it's going to lead into that particular show. But then you get to see other characters that are behind the scenes that, not that it's going to be a big spoiler for anybody, but they brought back Jimmy Woo, who is, he's actually a really good character right now in the series, and it ties in, the Ant-Man movies into WandaVision because of the connection between Jimmy Woo and Scott Lang's character, you know, um, and it also brings in Monica Rambeau, who I'm looking forward to seeing, elevate her status from sword agent to superhero status. I'm looking forward to see how she get her powers. I have a theory on how she got her powers or will get her powers, but I want to see how it plays out later on. So, really excited for the rest of the show and to see what other series Disney is going to be putting out soon.
Yeah, I guess you're right. They had to set
Uh,
things up in the first two episodes, so like, yeah. I mean, the whole show's been good for me. I like it.
Oh
And
yeah, absolutely.
Antonio, what do you think about the show?
uh, I mean, I love it. You guys touched on a whole bunch of stuff. As a comic nerd, I feel I know where it's going.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't like the absolute slow burn. I feel like episodes 2 and 3 could have been merged into one. So that's the story along a little bit more. Whenever I watch anything that's like when you really kind of want to get to something, filler episodes so quick into the I guess series is not great for me. I do like Easter egg stuff because it's Marvel. The funny, y'all want to see something funny? I'm literally drawing Wanda and Vision right there. Like
Nice.
I literally been drawing that while we were along with Black Manta, Chase Black Manta sitting in front of me. So I started drawing Chase Black Manta. Anyway,
That's awesome.
Thank you. I I love what Marvel is just doing with the multiverse in general. Like you said, Abdul going into Doctor Strange. I do like Vision. The actor who plays Vision is one of my favorite actors. I really like him a lot. Elizabeth Olsen is I will say I'm not a fan of how she's talking in that that TV voice. Like her talking
Right.
regular is cool. The TV voice, like especially like by episode 2, this is annoying. I was like, why are you talking? And I get it. I get the references, but I was just annoyed by it. I'm glad that we're in color. I'm glad that the story is progressed. Episode 4 was exactly the type of episode that you want in knowing the whole string of Marvel things, seeing how that episode started, and then seeing in the first 2 minutes, seeing how that progressed. No explosions, no fighting, but just seeing that little scene in the first 2 minutes of the episode.
Yeah.
Is everything you want once you've seen all of the Marvel movies. So I'm excited to see what's going to come next. Realistically, WizKids needs to get on and just make Marvel characters for all of the movies. They need to make HeroClix for all the characters, because the moment that Abdul says, I really like Jimmy Woo, you want to know what I think about? I think about the Jimmy Woo Pog from like back in the day. I mean, Abdul, you remember, man, Jimmy Woo was like 10
we
points
love
of
Jimmy
awesome.
Woo. Are you kidding me?
Willpower,
Jimmy Woo was great.
Love Jimmy Woo. Jimmy Woo was great. And then when they made him into a figure, he wasn't that great. I was like, your Pog
we wanted
is
the Pog
better.
instead.
I was like, your Pog is better. Like that's a thing. But when I now HeroClix has warped my mind so much. Anytime I see anything, I'm like, you know what? They should probably make that in the HeroClix. Or I'm like, hey man, you know they got it in the HeroClix, where it's like, oh yeah, his HeroClix figure wasn't that great. So when I see Jimmy Woo, I'm like, okay, yeah. If they made you in the HeroClix, you would probably like have Perplex or something like that. You'll probably have some flavor text being like, show me that trick with the card trick or something like that. It would be something like that. Because that's the stuff that makes it fun now at this point. When you've been playing for a long time, you just want something that's fun, you know?
Sure.
But I love the series. I think it's gonna be good. Can't wait to see.
Yeah, I would like to see them clicks the show too, like make a WandaVision.
Come on, looks the whole MCU.
WandaVision clicks, yeah, that'd be cool.
the whole MCU, man. Don't even whole MCU. It's printing money. When you have the 2 biggest IPs on the planet besides Star Wars and like Lord of the Rings, or no, like Star Wars and Star Trek and like maybe Pokemon are the only other IPs on the face of the planet that are bigger than Marvel and DC. Let's not like get it twisted. Marvel and DC is super huge. Print shit. Print it out. If they made an Endgame set, just Endgame, not any of the other stuff. Just give us Thanos with his little Thanos. You literally just have to change all of the characters. You're printing money. You're printing money at this point in time. That's what I want to see with kids do. I see them really push the IP like I know that they can. So, anyways, this has been fun, guys. This has been really fun.
This is really fun. Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
So, I think that concludes our today's episode of Coffee and Clicks. Thank you, Abdul and Antonio, for coming on. We had quite a lengthy but informative talk about the rules, the WizKids rules, and also
thank you for asking.
All of the future foundation stuff. It's been really good. It's been a really good talk. Always like talking clicks with you guys. And don't forget, everybody, wake up and smell the clicks.